I got my cholesterol under control. I refuse to eat fried butter for anyone.
I'll eat enough fried butter for the both of us. Don't you worry.
Thank you.
Live from Austin, Texas, with a story that makes Crazy Castle look like normal castle. It's Retro Pals with Danny and Alex. Hello, Alex. What's your favorite normal castle game?
Richard Garriott's Hometown Bash.
I like the one where Bugs Bunny does his taxes.
That one's good too. Yes.
Or the one where Woody Woodpecker goes to buy a pickup truck. That's a good one.
Oh yeah.
Hi, everybody.
Hi.
It's Retro Pals. Remember us? We took a little break after our last patron request gauntlet, but we're back, and it's time to remember how to stream. Help. How do we stream? Anyone want to offer us stream tips? We're going to get back in the groove here tonight, but until then, I'm just going to be tripping all over myself and getting things backwards and all mixed up, which is good because we picked the most complex stream possible to come back to after an extended break. But it's good to be back, and it's good to see you all. Hi.
Yeah, hi.
Thank you for not forgetting us. Thank you for remembering Retro Pals.
Thank you.
Oh man, we got a hell of a story for you here tonight. But first of all, check this out. It's me.
Look, I'm here too, but Danny's different.
This outfit is by Quark, a fellow retro streamer, game developer, and fellow fan of 2023 Game of the Year Double Number Doris.
Nice.
I recommend checking them out if you like retro stuff. All right, so we got quite a tale here to tell tonight. But before we do that, Alex, why don't you thank some folks?
Thank you, Uzi, for the 78-month resub. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you for the many months.
Thank you, Sailor Soapbox, 30-month resub. Danny, some might disagree that non-binary people are the hottest people on Earth, but they're just envious. Thank you.
Oh my God, I hadn't heard that one before. Thank you.
Thank you, Sepicide19 for the 50 bits, and thank you, Spectrament, 11-month resub. I want to be a Wonder Boy. Me too.
Me too. Thank you.
Thank you, Revenant, for the 55 months. 55 shots per second. It's not that fast.
Dang, that's fast.
Thank you, Cinco Play, for the 25-month resub. Oh boy, it's Wonder Boy, the Boy Wonder. He is a Boy Wonder.
It's true. That checks out.
H-Hog with a 21-month resub. Wonder Boy, what is the secret of your powers? Magic.
We will find that out. I'm going to provide a conclusive answer to that. Thank you for the sub.
Thank you, Celtic, for the 17-month resub. My sub is just 17, and you know what I mean. And the Retro Pals are way beyond compare.
Agreed.
And I don't know how you could stream with another when you see us streaming here. Thank you, Vagrant Wastrel.
Did you just continue that on your own?
Yeah, sorry. I have Filk disease in my brain, so I Filk. Thank you, Vagrant Wastrel, 65-month resub. Thank you.
That's so many months. Thank you.
Jamie VX, 43-month resub. Thank you so very much for that. I do appreciate it.
Thank you.
Invaderoid, cheers. 70 bits. Wampum is a Son Goku game, not a Wonder Boy.
Yes, okay. I'm glad someone finally understands this. Oh man, I have so much to say about that subject, but thank you for getting that out of the way early. Thank
you, Halibut Barn, 48-month resub. That's 4 years. Thank you. 48 islands of adventure.
12 times 4. Yeah, okay. That's 4 freaking years. Thank you.
All hail Magombo with the 100 Womp Them bits. Thank you.
Thank you, Magombo.
Seraphis Kane, 51-month resub. Danny looking like that Always Sunny pinboard meme trying to explain the Wonder Boy Adventure Island chronology.
That was me over the last week or so trying to put this thing together. I had to check and double check and okay, Alex, continue.
Refurb, 50-month resub. Thank you so very much.
Thanks for the big 50.
No problems with the 83-month resub. Holy shit.
83? I can't count that high.
Me either.
Thank you, though.
Thank you, Neo Zero, 18-month resub. Thank you.
Thank you.
And thank you, Cartman, for the 100 bits. How Wonder Boy became master of the ship Higgins.
Is that what happened?
I think so.
I gotta read the extended universe novel.
Thank you, Manx a lot. 59-month resub. Thank you for that.
Thank you.
And Arpica, 59 months as well. Thank you. Invaderoid with the 25-month resub. No, thank you. No,
thank you. Take that.
Thank you, Cartman, with the other 100 bits. Chronologically, confused Wonder Boy timeline with Zelda.
The AVGN would never dare to take this on. It has to be us. It has to be us. Thank you, though.
Thank you, Rondo, of that, the 62-month resub. I can't believe we've been married for 62 months. That's a lot of months to have married
62
us.
months
Yes.
of marriage. Oh, my God. Can you imagine?
Thank you, 68K Heart, 53-month resub. Thank you.
Thank you.
And last but not least, we got Laughboy, 38-month resub, and Krungo gifting a sub to the community. Thank you, Laughboy and Krungo, for the subs. Do appreciate it.
Thank you, Laugh Boy, and thank you, Krungo, for the gift sub.
Thank you. My throat is tired.
Ooh, all right, well, we did our time. We got the
thank
subs.
you.
Time to pull the plug. See ya, suckers.
No, hey, wait.
All right, we got a show to put on here. And what kind of show are we streaming tonight? Well, as usual, it's what our patrons wanted to see. This week, we were going to cover one of 2 forgotten mascots, and this is how that poll turned out.
Like that.
Uh-huh. It was a real close one. I thought Alex Kidd would come from behind and take it, but in the end, people wanted to know the full story behind Takahashi Meijin, whoever the hell that is.
Real-
Shaxpert, thank you for the
Thank you.
85 months.
I didn't connect the Alex cell mid-stage, so I've got to do these 87 months all over again.
That's a deep cut, thank you.
And thank you, Insane Cow, for the 13 months as well. To many more retros and pals.
Thank you. And Mooware, thank you for the 100 bits.
Thank you.
All right, there comes a time in every gamer's life when they have to do the thing. Thus far, over 9 years of streaming as of this month, we've avoided this. We've been tiptoeing around it. We've addressed the situation in brief as recently as our last stream, actually. It actually came up then, so it's good we're finally doing this. Alex, it's time for the Retro Pals to explain the Wonder Boy thing. Oh, I've been dreading this ever since we started streaming, that we'd eventually have to untangle the whole Wonder Boy and Adventure Island thing. It has to happen. It has to happen tonight. So, for those of you who don't know what the Wonder Boy thing is, it's basically the Sega fan equivalent of, did you know Super Mario Bros. 2 was released as Doki Doki Panic in Japan? It's the kind of thing that you just absorb via osmosis as like general gaming trivia if you go around in retro gaming circles. And most relevant for us, if you produce any kind of retro gaming content, you find yourself constantly compelled to explain this thing to in any situation that demands any sort of elaboration on what's going on here. This is well-trod ground. People like Retronauts have detailed this before us. People like Hardcore Gaming 101. But we're real late to the party, but we got to do it. We have to do this. This is a rite of passage. We're going to do this tonight, starting with Wonder Boy.
It's a mischievous boy's great adventure.
Wonder Boy, what is the secret of your power? It's eggs, apparently. Look in the lower right. His power comes from eggs.
Oh, it does!
There you go. You didn't have to write a freaking song about it or anything. It's just, it comes from eggs. Like everything related to Retro Pals. It all revolves around eggs. So, this 1986, I think, arcade game came out from a company called Escape, later Westone, and let's just get right into this. Let's play it. We have a whole lot to get into, and the Wonder Boy part of the equation, I'm going to try and, I don't know, I'll give it its due, but we really want to see what the whole Takahashi Meijin thing is about, because that's what our patrons voted for. But there's no avoiding it. We have to do this. We have to cover the Wonder Boy side, so let's do it. There he is. There's Wonder Boy, a.k.a. Tom Tom, a.k.a. Bach, a.k.a. Book. He has many different names.
Bach?
Yeah, Bach. That's his usual.
Like never mind.
His usual canon Japanese name, and that's his lovely lady Tina, who also has a whole bunch of other names that I'm not going to get into. Look, Bach is right there in the freaking high score list.
I'd never heard of this Bach before.
Yeah, Wonder Boy's name is Bach, also known as Book, also known as Tom Tom, also known as Master. We'll get to that. And so the journey starts here. Look at this video game. This is a beautiful video game. I remember seeing this in arcades back then when I was just a teeny tiny baby. And I was impressed. I was like, holy shit, arcade games can look way better than the NES can. And to me, this looked like a freaking cartoon. Like, put yourself in the shoes of a tiny baby in 1986, only used to Super Mario Brothers. You'd be like, oh my god, there's so much detail here.
There is.
This boy is collecting so many colorful fruit. Go on.
I was going to say, thank you, Tepid Snake. 80-month or resub. It's a Wonder Boy thing.
It is. Tepid Snake, I'm sure you know all about this.
Yeah.
Thank you. So you're a boy. You get your axes from eggs. Occasionally there's a skateboard inside the eggs. And you have to fend off an army of like snakes and snails. puppy dog tails. Wait, no.
Wait, no, that's gender. That's different.
Yeah, that's how gender works. You get a fairy who makes you invincible. You can run right through the fire. He doesn't even care.
Wow, even the rocks don't faze him.
Yeah.
Hate that.
There's a doll hidden in every level. Don't worry about it. I'm not going to explain it.
Good.
I'll leave the doll mystery up for you to solve. So suffice to say, we're going to see this game again. So I'm not going to play any more of this. You will see more of this formula. But what we're here to do today is to cover all the different ports and versions available of these games. Eventually, this came out on the Sega Master System, or rather in Japan. It was released first there for the Mark III, as short-lived as that was. Over there, it was called Super Wonder Boy.
Oh.
I don't know where the super comes from. I think they maybe added content or something.
Holy cow, we got 2 raids here. Thank you to Sebmal and Hexagon Witch for the raids. Thank you so much.
Wow, dual raid. Parried. Within the same frame, even. Thank you so much. Sebmal, Hexagon Witch, thank you. All the members of the Hat Squad, welcome. You're free to keep your hats on.
Yeah,
You don't have to remove your hat indoors. We keep our rules like that. Thank you for the raids.
Thank you.
So in Japan, the first Wonder Boy arcade game came to the Mark III, as it was known in Japan, as Super Wonder Boy. And over here in the States, we got a version of it for the Sega Master System, where it was just called Wonder Boy. And believe it or not, this is some of the better Master System box art. If you've seen some of the crap they put on the covers of those games, you'll realize, oh my god, this is like an artistic masterpiece. Incredible. Many years later, they ported it to the Game Gear, which has similar hardware to the Master System, where they called it Revenge of Drancon. What the fuck?
What the fuck is this?
Why'd you do that? I'm sure a lot of people bought this game not knowing what it was, and then they popped it in and they're like, this is just Wonder Boy. What are you doing? Why did you do this? This Game Gear version also came out in Japan and Europe, where it was just called Wonder Boy. So I don't know what made us so special. We got the Revenge of Drancon over here.
I guess.
So, okay, that's pretty easy to keep track of so far, right? Wonder Boy. In Japan, it was called Super Wonder Boy. Revenge of Drancon. You're never going to hear that name again, so don't worry too much about it. But in arcades, a year later, they released a sequel. And it's this game we're going to show you right here.
Oh.
Not that.
Not that, sorry.
It's called Wonder Boy in Monsterland. I'm so glad that this particular version is in MAME now. Oh, I'm going to need focus for this. So this game was actually exclusive to Japan. An English version was never released. They made it, and a prototype board was used in the development of the microcomputer ports. So that's why it has the English translation that it has in the various ZX Spectrum and whatever ports there were. Many years later, they released that English prototype via the Virtual Console, and later via the Sega Vintage Collection for Xbox 360 and PS3.
Thank you, Ultra Pancake, 21-month resub. I'm wondering about this boy.
We're all wondering about this boy.
This is different.
Welcome to Monsterland. Thank you, Ultra Pancake, for the sub. Appreciate
Thank
it. I like to think that this is a direct sequel to Wonder Boy, where he just came out of the woods, and instead of a grass skirt, he's upgraded to a diaper. And now he's meeting with actual people for the first time and expressing himself with words. And the first thing he finds is a sword. It's almost like the video game platformer is rising up from the primordial ooze, and it put on a diaper, and it's ready to cause some shit with some snakes. There's some technical shit. There's like an exploit with how the coins spawn. That's why I'm wiggling around when they spawn. Don't worry too much about it.
Okay.
So we come out of the woods, someone gives us a sword, and the first thing we gotta do is get drunk.
Okay.
Beer for me, please.
Death has the key to the next town's gate.
I see. No, still thirsty. You're here again. You trying to shame me?
Jump the last tree on the right-hand side. Okay.
So, while the first game was a pretty straightforward platformer, especially for the era, like, games are a little bit more complex at that point. I'm thinking games like Genpei Tomaden and Rygar. Here's Wonder Boy just hopping over rocks and collecting eggs. This game makes up for it by introducing like a shit ton of RPG elements, and like an upgrade system, equipment you can buy, bosses.
Bosses?
Yeah. Keys that can be used to open doors. Can you imagine?
This is so complicated in comparison to...
Yeah, they really made up.
Guy.
They really made up for the first game's lack of complexity. They were like all the complexity for the second game.
Yeah, death is actually weaker than I expected them to be. You usually expect death to be overpowering.
Yeah, you just stab him a few times.
Okay.
Goes down without much of a fight. Here we're starting to see some of the elements you're going to see in a whole lot of the games we're going to cover tonight. There's snakes, there's mushrooms, there's well, not this guy, he never shows up again.
Okay, bye, dude.
You can upgrade, you can buy boots.
Thank you, Carmen, for the 50 bits, 50 gold get. Thank you. Look at your little boots.
Look at that. The first thing you can buy is a nice set of hot purple boots. Upgrading your style instantly. Yeah, you can also get a shield. I guess I should afford that. I got one lucky drop. That's why I have more gold than usual. Yeah, let's get this. Look at this. Just a few seconds ago, he was wandering around the woods, eating bugs and berries in his grass skirt. And now, look at him. He's a proper hero.
He's got a sword, he's got boots, he's got a shield.
There's also a shit ton of hidden stuff in this game. Like, stuff that you don't normally see. Background elements and doors that you can only access if you know the proper spots to push up in front of. There's little hidden gold caches, too, like that. Thanks for the 1 gold, asshole. I'd like to be able to learn how to 1 credit clear this at some point, but man, this looks tough. And the last level is just like one giant kick in the dick. Someone be beyond the wall.
Someone be?
And this starts a game-long side quest where you have to go... There's basically like 6 or 7 different things that you have to access after this. They give you this item that you trade with other people. It's kind of like that thing you do in Link's Awakening with the bananas and all that. And if you finish all that, you essentially get an item that allows the last boss to be beatable. Otherwise, it's really tough.
Hey, the Vampire Lord looks like a dork.
He's trying his best.
I know, but...
So what's our takeaway from this? I guess just with 1 year, they made this game way, way, way more complex than the game that came before it. And that would basically inform all the things they did after that. There's some hidden gold here, did you know?
I did not know.
I do want to move on, but I want to at least finish this level first.
I love the way this game looks.
It's so nice looking. It's so pleasant. It's really, really tough, though. Which just makes me want to learn it even more. That's how I am with games. I'm all like, oh, you don't want me to play you, do you? I'll show you. No, my money bag. Oh, well. I gotta say, Myconid is a really good use of vocabulary for this game that just a few seconds ago said, someone be beyond the wall.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
Like someone open up a thesaurus for that shit. Eventually you do get armor, you do put a shirt on, and Wonder Boy basically just evolves from there. So without closing the game, why don't you let this track play while we show off the many different versions of Wonder Boy and Monsterland that came out for consoles after this game's release.
Okay.
So even though the arcade version was Japan only, I mentioned they had a prototype version that allowed them to source an English translation from. This was released on... Check this out. The Mark III.
Oh.
Where it was released as Super Wonder Boy Monster World. That's important. Monster World, not Monsterland.
Okay.
Internally, I want you to think of this game as Monster World from this point forward. It'll make things a lot easier. There were other versions released, like this one. The US version, where...
He looks like he's slapping him!
I mean, they gave this actual art, which is more than you can say for most Master System games in the US, but why does he look like that? Poor Wonder Boy.
Holy, I'm slapping you!
But I gotta say, this one looks better than the microcomputer box art they got in Europe.
He looks like an Amiga.
He's looking a little asterisk with it, you know? The little bartender, I like that they included him in the corner there. But, man, I don't know, guys. I don't know about this one. What else did they release?
Alright, next up is... Okay, that's not so bad.
Alright, so... This is where it starts to get complicated. The PC Engine is the Japanese version of the TurboGrafx 16.
Okay.
This was a launch title. This came out the same day as the console released. It's Bikuriman World, where they replaced all the Wonder Boy characters with Bikuriman characters. These are little stickers that you would get from buying chocolates in Japan, and you would stick them on things, and they would have like foil backgrounds, so they'd be all shiny and stuff. Orange Right, thank you for the sub.
Thank you.
Tepid Snake, thank you for the 100 bits. I appreciate it.
I also do not condone or endorse Euro microcomputers.
Thank you. It's okay. I understand. Oh, I need to... Yeah, you can close MAME now. It's starting to do the low health noise. All right, so how else did this come out on consoles? Well...
Monica!
You may have heard that Super Mario Bros. 2 was Doki Doki Panic in Japan, and also that the Sega Master System was very popular in Brazil. So much so that they actually reskinned a whole bunch of games to be based on Turma de Monica, a series that was basically just like comics and cartoons. Really long-running, really popular, and boy, they love putting this guy in Wonder Boy games, let me tell you. This is not the last time we're going to see old Monica here. And finally...
Danny, explain.
On the Famicom, they released this as Sayuki World. Why don't you stare deeply into Son Goku's eyes there while I explain this? So, Escape, later Westone, retained the gameplay and engine rights to Wonder Boy. That is the way the game plays, the way the game essentially looks, while Sega took the Wonder Boy character license. So, what Escape, aka Westone, eventually did was license out their games to other companies, and they could reskin them however they wanted, just without, Wonder Boy, which was the property of Sega. Jalico and NMK were the first pair to do this for Wonder Boy and Monsterland. And it looks like this. I'm sorry, I keep looking in his eyes, and I see nothing there.
He's seen shit.
Someone on the Discord compared it to the IKEA monkey, and he does have that kind of lost look in his eyes. I don't know what this is trying to portray or say about the world, but either way, it says a lot. So that's the story of how Wonder Boy became other games on different consoles. It could become Bikuriman. It could become Son Goku on a bender or something. I don't know what his deal was. And we got to finish up this arcade segment with the last game in the Arcade Wonder Boy series, which is called Wonder Boy 3 Monster Lair. So even though Monsterland got renamed and repurposed across a bunch of regions and different consoles and computers and stuff, I need to focus for this. Thank you. Mm-hmm. This one keeps it simple. It's just Wonder Boy 3 Monster Lair. Don't think about what comes after this. Don't think about all the different versions that were released. Instead, just relax and enjoy this game. Alex, pick up the controller. I want you to play this one too.
Okay.
Since we so rarely get a chance to show off Wonder Boy 3 Monster Lair. Yeah. Here we are. This one, gotta say, people didn't pick this one up for porting as much as they did Monsterland, aka Monster World, aka Bikuriman World, aka Sayuki World. This game, it's okay. It's more like the original Wonder Boy than Monsterland was. It doesn't have collectible equipment. It doesn't have RPG elements. It's just a pretty basic side-scrolling run-and-gun shooter, pretty much. Still, you can see how Wonder Boy evolved. He's fully clothed now. He's no longer wearing a grass skirt or a diaper, God forbid.
Nope.
He's fully upgraded to actual human clothes. But you still see a lot of familiar stuff you see from the Wonder Boy games. You go around collecting food to keep up your stamina, which drains really fast. I guess he has a metabolism problem or something.
He does.
You ever play this one, Alex?
No, actually. It's
No,
my first time.
this one's new to you. Nice.
Yeah.
It's pretty neat. It's really long. I think there's something like 20 levels in this. Like a playthrough is at least an hour or so. I don't know if it's the kind of thing I would want to try in 1cc or learn or anything like that, but it is pretty neat. It is an okay game. And in the second part of each level, it just turns into a freaking shmup. One of them shmoop-em-ups. Where you just fly to the right. Where you fly to the right and shoot a bunch of fish. 16 stages? Okay, that's still pretty long. And I imagine it gets pretty tough at the end. I've only ever played the first few levels. and the impression I got was, it's pretty good. The character art is really nice and clean and cartoony. The gameplay handles pretty well, and it's got giant fish in it.
I do like the giant fish. Thank you, Missing String Key, for the 50-month resub. I do appreciate that. I'm shooting this fish in your honor. Oh.
He's becoming bones.
I'm back.
Welcome back.
Don't worry about it.
Yeah, thank you for the sub. We gotta get this guy. We gotta take this guy down. He's had it too good for too long. So while I would say Wonder Boy was pretty much equivalent with how complex platformers were in arcades back then, and Monsterland was way, way, way beyond the curve, like hugely ahead of it in many, many ways, this feels about appropriate for 1988. This feels like it could be contemporary with Contra, which it was. It's just a little bit cuter, a little bit more Wonder Boy-esque. What can I say? It's Monster Lair. Alright, let's do it. Let's get to the ports. We gotta break this down. Yeah, you can probably just let this keep running. I'm sure Wonder Boy will be fine without our input.
He doesn't need us.
Yeah, he's doing just great. Wow, he's 1 credit clearing the game without any help from me. Amazing.
Wow, he's turned into Sonic the Hedgehog and is kissing everyone.
I wish you could see it. Alright, so one of the first ports was this one.
Okay, looks good.
One of the very first games to the PC Engine CD-ROM, alongside Fighting Street and Noriko in Japan. One of the very first CD-ROMs ever released for any system, in fact. They kept the Wonder Boy name. They called it Monster Lair. They got the Sega license and everything. It's a straightforward port. And when they released it over here for the TurboGrafx CD, which like 5 people had back then, they released it like this. Monster Lair. No longer Wonder Boy. You don't need it. Westone at this point just owns the rights to the thing, and so as long as you don't call it Wonder Boy, you don't have to pay Sega for shit.
So it's just Monster Lair.
Yeah, it's just Monster Lair. And there was another version for the Mega Drive in Japan and Europe. This one never made it to the United States, where they called it Wonder Boy 3 Monster Lair. Wow, okay.
Okay, that's the real name.
So maybe this'll be easier than I thought. Maybe this is an actually very straightforward episode of Retro Pals instead of a convoluted and confusing one. Good. This is a good start. Okay,
Sorry,
Alex.
the music's going so hard.
Yeah, the music's going crazy. Holy shit. I gotta listen to this later. The PC Engine soundtrack is really good too. It has a lot of live instrumentation with like guitar shredding. Really, really good 1989 guitar shredding. Highly recommended. Alright, Alex. We're switching over to the Mister. Bring up that Mister window for me because this is about to get a little more complicated.
A little freaky.
I wouldn't say it like that, but okay.
Yeah, of course you wouldn't.
Remember Monster World?
Yeah.
We're no longer thinking about Wonder Boy. Put Wonder Boy in the back of your mind. Just put him in there in the corner to think about what he did. We're thinking about Monster World now. And the first game, of course, was Super Wonder Boy in Monster World for the Sega Master System, as was called on that system. You may recall that there was a follow-up to that was released under a different name in the US, but for the sake of this stream, we are going to play a Game Gear game by the title of Monster World 2. Look at that, it's just Monster World 2. Wonder Boy? Who's that? Never heard of him in my life.
World.
Never in my life have I heard of this boy. There's just Monster World. So you can see from the date on the title screen. Actually, it's not there at all.
I was going to say.
I think this was like 91, 92 or something. So many, many years after the first Monsterland, aka Monster World, came this game. It says, "This is Monster World. Welcome here. It's nice. Except for the mecha dragon who's terrorizing the populace. You gotta go take him out."
Oh, man. What if I don't want to kill a dragon?
Well, this one's mechanical. He's taking jobs away from the biological dragons.
Okay, he's an AI dragon? Alright, get out of here, dude.
Oh, this is a little quiet. You may want to turn this up a little bit.
Is...
So, this game in particular, you may have seen in so many different forms over the years. So many different names, so many different consoles. But for the sake of keeping things simple for now, we're just calling this Monster World 2, the follow-up to Wonder Boy and Monsterland, the arcade game. That's because this game didn't get a Master System release in Japan. The thing was pretty much dead in the water after the release of Wonder Boy and Monsterland, so they just canceled the Master System game that was in development. They did release it in the US and Europe, where it was pretty popular, but it wasn't until many years later, and this Game Gear port, that Japan finally got Monster World 2, as it was then called. I gotta beat this guy. Who's played this one? Who's a fan of this video game? I like this.
People like this game. I know
This is a good one. They remade this recently as Wonder Boy: The Dragon's Trap, keeping a number out of the title, which was very much the right thing to do. Good job, Lizard Cube, with that one.
Yeah, it's a game where you turn to a dragon, so it's good, but...
Yeah. So you're cursed at the start of the game. You turn into a disgusting dragon, as some of the ports say. I don't think he looks that bad.
He doesn't look disgusting at all.
And as the game goes on, you get more transformations, you get different abilities, which allow you to access different parts of the game world. And I gotta say, from when this game originally came out for the Master System in the US and Europe, this was pretty much huge. This was the Sega Master System equivalent of Super Mario Bros. 3, I would say. That's right, I'm gonna say it.
Okay.
I'm not gonna go back on it. You can't make me take that shit back. It was just a game that was of a size and scale that hadn't been seen at all before. Like, think of the original Wonder Boy, him just walking to the right, collecting fruit, getting the eggs. And then Monsterland, which had basic equipment, still had a lot of arcade-focused like difficulty and stuff like that. While it was ahead of the curve, it wasn't like as huge of a leap as this game was for console gaming. Also got to point out, this didn't have an arcade release. This was console exclusive.
Really?
And it would have been the first exclusive Wonder Boy game for consoles, if it had worked out in Japan with the Mark III, which it didn't. I just think it's kind of strange that this huge shift in search action gaming, if you want to call it that, we'll just call it a Metroidvania.
Okay.
It wasn't released in Japan at all, up until the Game Gear released in 1991 or whatever. Actually, there was one other version, but we'll get to that in just a second when we get past this opening segment. I really wonder how this Game Gear version stacks up to the Master System one. I've only ever played the Master System game, but I assume the Game Gear one holds up as well. And that's it. That's the whole game. You can beat it in like 5 minutes. Not much to it, but pretty good. Pretty good. All right, let's get to it. While this game was only released in Japan for the Game Gear in like 91 or 92 or whatever, many years before, it came out in the US and Europe as... Well, that's what the Game Gear version looks like there. Has some pretty nice box art, actually.
Yeah.
But the one we got years earlier was this. Wonder Boy 3, The Dragon's Trap. Not actually Wonder Boy 3, there was an arcade Wonder Boy 3. So consider Monster World 2 to be Wonder Boy 4, if you would. Even though the title here says Wonder Boy 3. The box art, pretty good, actually. They got an actual artist to work on this. There was some sort of purpose to the design. They put some thought into it. Again, yeah, the standards aren't very high for Master System, but it looks okay.
He looks like a dipshit. Yeah, a little bit.
Look, that's the best you're gonna get for console box art in 1989. Dipshit, you're not gonna get much better than dipshit. Speaking of dipshits, let's see the other box arts we got.
Hey, Monica's not a dipshit.
Monica is not a dipshit. I do think that it's pretty clever how they used his friends in this game as the transformations you can get. Instead of a dragon in this game in the beginning, you transform into his country bumpkin friend with a shotgun, which is pretty neat. So that's how players in Brazil saw this game. Also coming out was this version. Alright, so... TurboGrafx 16 in the US got a port of Wonder Boy 3, aka Wonder Boy 4, aka Monster World 2, as Dragon's Curse. It didn't have the Wonder Boy name on it at all. It was just called Dragon's Curse, and it got kind of a weird translation where it was all like, "You're a disgusting creature." That's where that came from. So you might wonder, this is TurboGrafx 16, right? The PC Engine in Japan, way bigger, way more successful. What was their version like? Maybe they got the Wonder Boy license? Maybe they called this Monster World 2? No, Alex, they called it Adventure Island.
I hate this.
Why did you do that? Why would you do that if not just to spite me so many years later trying to untangle this? What? Sure, you save money on having to not license the Wonder Boy name, but why would you call it Adventure Island of all the names that you could have possibly called it? Unbelievable. This is the game we played in the last patron request gauntlet that threw us for a loop. It's not Wonder Boy 3, The Dragon's Trap. It's not Wonder Boy 4, Monster World 2. It's Adventure Island. Normal. All right, erase that from your mind.
Okay.
Just completely forget that exists. We're about to cover more Adventure Island games soon enough, but for now, just forget that existed. Forget that Wonder Boy 3, aka Wonder Boy 4, was released as Adventure Island. We'll all be better off for it. Okay, so we gotta switch back over to Mega Drive for these next couple of games, because things are about to converge. They're about to get a little bit simpler. I think that was the height of the ridiculousness between Wonder Boy and Monsterland and Wonder Boy 3 The Dragon's Trap. They had so many different names and so many different versions for all those consoles that people couldn't help but get confused. Alex, do you feel a little less confused now, or did I just make it worse?
I'm a little confused, but so it's Wonder Boy 3 Dragon's Trap.
Yeah, also known as Wonder Boy 4,
Okay.
Monster World 2. You got that? I don't think Alex has got that.
I ain't got it.
Let's move on to the next game in the series. We're playing the US version, which is called Wonder Boy and Monster World. Wonder Boy is back. This one is by Sega and Westone. They've settled their differences. This is really loud. I say they've settled their differences, but I'm sure it was just all business. It's nice to be back here in Monster World, aka Monsterland. Starting off fully clothed and armored in our house, we've come a really long way since our grass skirt origins.
Yeah, we look beautiful.
I'm sorry, I see this character design and all I can think about is the freaking Wonder Boy fan film. Not to get too far off track, but if you want to see something truly deranged and unwatchable, look for the Wonder Boy fan film on Archive. It's like computer animated, except they use like EverQuest or something, and the voice acting for it is just otherworldly. It's something you'll never forget if you've seen it. But anyway, this is Wonder Boy. In Monster World. Yeah, that's what it's called.
Wonder Boy 5, Monster World 3, aka Wonder Boy in Monster World. Okay.
Yeah, we'll get to that in a second. But I think the reason they made this when they did is because of the lack of Monster World 2 in Japan up until the release of the Game Gear. So a lot of this game, at least the first part, is pretty much a retread of what you saw before. In fact, this part is just like a direct copy and paste from Monsterland. It's just like, remember Monsterland? Well, there was another game between that one and this one, but don't worry too much about it. We'll catch you up. You're just a boy with a sword and wonder in his heart. I assume that's what the wonder part means. What is so wonderful about Wonder Boy, anyway?
Magic?
Yeah?
Is that it?
He can make things appear from eggs? I guess that's pretty magic.
Hey, listen, I can't. I crack an egg, I just get a bunch of runny, disgusting stuff.
Your journey's just begun. Remember, the jellyfish will help you on your way.
Yeah, he's full of wonder and whimsy.
That's my advice to anyone who I see for the first time and I'm never going to see again. Remember, the jellyfish can help you. Actually, you probably shouldn't trust jellyfish. They sting, and it hurts a lot. I wouldn't know. I've never been stung. Anyone been stung by a jellyfish?
I've been stung by a wasp, and a yellow jacket, and red ants.
Ooh.
Not all at the same time.
Okay, that's good. So, if you've played Dragon's Trap, aka whatever, I'm not going to go through it again. It's a lot like this. This is a lot more streamlined. The difficulty has been toned down a lot. Playing through this right after playing through Dragon's Trap for the first time, I noticed that it was a much smoother experience. I don't like it as much. I don't think it's as distinctive or as, ahead of the curve as it was in 1991 or 92, as Dragon's Trap was. But it's pretty good. It's fun.
Danny, multiple people in chat have been stung by jellyfish, and the conclusion is that it's a burning sting that really, really sucks.
Okay, do you recommend it?
I would assume by the really, really sucks part that it's, let's see here. Chat says doesn't feel great. So I'm assuming that's a de-recommend. What do they call it when you don't recommend something?
I'll keep that in mind. Alex, arrange a return with Amazon for the bunch of jellyfish I just ordered.
Ooh.
All right, let's get into it. Over here in the U.S., this was called Wonder Boy and Monster World. Nice and tidy. Doesn't mention the other names this may have had. But here's the Japanese version. God help me, this is called Wonder Boy 5 Monster World 3. I gotta admire their consistency, their completeness. They made sure you knew that this was part of an existing series. They left no question to that. But to call it Wonder Boy 5 Monster World 3 is pretty funny, I gotta admit. There were other versions, like this one, which is the one we got in the US. Man,
I like his cool sneakers!
That is some classic US airbrush Genesis art, I gotta say.
I love it.
That is some classic stuff. There's also this one. Monica's back. They released this game for Mega Drive and Master System in Brazil. The fact that there's a Master System port of this is kind of amazing, considering the scale and scope of the game. It's also not a very good port, from what I've heard. The range of your attack is heavily limited, which makes it harder to play. But still, nice that they were releasing more Master System games back then when they did.
Mm-hmm.
How else did this get released? Well...
the Dynastic Hero?
So when it came time to port this to the TurboGrafx 16 CD, which was the Turbo Duo at this point, they called it the Dynastic Hero. And they stripped away the Wonder Boy license so they didn't have to pay Sega, and they replaced all the characters with these weird bug-like creatures. It was just a kind of bug world, which makes you think, okay, what's the Japanese version? Did they have Wonder Boy? Did they call this Adventure Island 2? No, they called it the Dynastic Hero.
Oh, they're also bugs.
Yeah, that wasn't just something weird they made up for the US release, just it was Dynastic Hero worldwide for God knows whatever reason. Mellow Chaos, thank you for the 50 bits. Rippin' Pals. Poor Concord. Concord was released in Japan as Wonder Boy 6 Monster World 12, which is why it didn't do too well. And finally, we got one last game. Let's bring up the cover art for this one. This is gonna be a long one, folks. Here it is. Just bring that up.
Oh hell yeah!
Monster World 4. No other ports, no other versions, no other reskins. It's just Monster World 4. Thank you, God, for making this part a little bit easier, at least. So you'll notice, not only is it not called Wonder Boy, there's no boy at all.
No.
That's a Goyle. They put Goyles in video games? And check this shit out. This game is fucking amazing. This didn't get an English language release for many years, up until the Sega Vintage Collection, which I mentioned before. The ROM from that was ripped, and you can play it via emulation, so that's the one we're playing here today. I do want to show off a little bit of this game, because, frankly, this looks incredible. Yeah, it's not Wonder Boy 5, Monster World 6, it's just Monster World 4. The timelines have finally converged. And man, this looks so good for a Mega Drive game. It's so colorful and nicely animated and cool looking. And I'm really glad that they put the time in to do a professional translation, even though it happened so many years later. I would say this one and Dragon's Trap are the two that are most worth checking out if you're looking to get into this series. I really like Monsterland because I really like arcade games, and Wonder Boy is cool too, but I'd say for most people, you're going to get the most out of this one and Dragon's Trap. Especially the Dragon's Trap remake, which is kind of amazing. You ever play that one?
Yeah, I played a little bit of it, and I really enjoyed it.
It's cool, right?
Very cool, but you know, dragons, so
yeah, it's fun to be different animals and stuff.
It is.
So as we wind up our little Wonder Boy segment here, Alex, what are your thoughts?
My thoughts are that it's interesting that this game started as more of an action series and then added RPG style elements later on. It's interesting that and at the end of the series, they're like, no, Wonder Boy's gone. We just want the monster world. Thank you.
Yeah. I am a little disappointed that there wasn't like a twisted PC Engine version that was just called something completely different. Or like a Brazilian Master System version with Monica in it.
Also, I want to let you know Monica is a girl.
Monica's a girl?
Yeah.
Oh my god. Incredible.
Mm-hmm.
That throws all my research out the window. Well, forget I said anything. Oh, this game's so good. I've only ever played through it once on the Vintage Collection, but I really do recommend it. This has a really strong sense of place. This world has so many different creatures in it, and they all look so amazingly cute.
Oh, they're waving bye.
They all see you off and say goodbye. They get a little teary about it even. The controls in this game are really nice and crisp too. There's a run, you can like down stab, you can even up stab. You can think of it as like a Sega version of Zelda 2 maybe. Except possibly even better. I don't know though, I really like Zelda 2. Alex, what are your Zelda 2 thoughts?
I've not played a lot of Zelda 2, but I know it's a contentious game amongst the gamers.
Oh yeah, those gamers.
They're always contending.
They're always contending about something.
They are trying to be like, hey, who wants to play Monster World 4? And they're like, we can't. We're contending about a video game.
Gamers in chat, what's your latest contention? I'm gonna play like a minute of this because I feel it's worth showing off, but I want to keep my finger on the pulse of gaming. I know Concord is the big thing that's happening right now.
That's all I saw today.
As of this recording. Pretty cool failure there, Sony. You sure spent a lot of money on doing nothing. Meanwhile, Monster World 4 is a game that's just out there and you can play it.
There are so many games out there that you can play. I was gonna say Second Life outlasted Concord.
Boy, did it ever.
Yeah, Second Life's is gonna outlast a lot of human beings. That makes sense.
I never looked at it that. Okay, Alex, we need to.
I know. I was thinking, I need to move on immediately.
The plots. We're gradually losing control of the plot as we think about our own demise. But while you're still alive, you might want to play Monster World 4 for the Mega Drive. I'm pretty sure there's still some way you can buy the Sega Vintage Collection. I think it's Xbox One and PS4 compatible, or at least it should be. And if it's not, you should tell Sega about that. Oh, I want to play through this again. You get a little blue guy called a Pepalagoo, and he's your best friend. And there's a bunch of little evil Pepalagoos that you gotta fight against. Oh, man. I know I could just play the rest of this for the rest of the stream, but I really should move on. There's our mushroom friend.
I love our mushroom friend.
He's been there since the beginning. Gotta hand it to you, Mushroom Man. Thank you.
I gotta hand it to you, little mushroom man. Ooh.
Okay, Alex.
I don't know what that was. I'm so sorry.
And that's a very, very brief, well, not so brief, overview of the Wonder Boy series as it relates to Adventure Island. End of part 1. Turn tape over. Press play to continue this RetroPal stream. Click.
Play has been pressed.
Okay, welcome to part 2 of the RetroPals Wonder Boy Adventure Island blowout stream. Woo!
Woo!
Yeah! All right. Fuck yeah! Whoa, tone it down, dude. This is a family stream. Adventure Island. It was an NES game. It had a little guy in it in a grass skirt who was not Wonder Boy. It was a guy named Master Higgins, aka Takahashi Meijin in Japan. In Japan, this was released in 1986 as Takahashi Meijin no Bokenjima, or Takahashi Meijin's Adventure Island. No relation to the Adventure Island we saw before. Again, I told you to forget that.
Mm-hmm.
But who is this Takahashi Meijin? Alex, if you would, move the OBS window over to the left screen here so I can see it. And why don't we watch this brief little video vignette that'll explain a little bit about Takahashi Meijin. This was a game tips video / documentary released on VHS in Japan. I don't know what it's called, but I'm crediting Kabusses with this upload. Thank you, Kabusses, for that. Alex, you have a link there that you can post in chat if you want to see this. Thank you. Now look at this. This is Star Soldier, an early shooter for the Famicom. And you'll notice that This player's doing really well, and in particular, they're shooting really, really fast. This game has no auto-fire. This is not being played with a turbo controller. This is being played by a single player who's mashing the button this fast. Every single bullet you see come out of that ship is the result of one button press. And whoever's doing this is keeping up a really consistent rate of fire.
Thank you, Redder, for the 100 bits. Monica's little girl, she may walk off
with the whole world. Thank you.
And thank you, Dot Level 58 month resub. I'm here for my Wonder Boy PhD. We're getting it.
Everyone has been awarded a Wonder Boy PhD after this stream. Thank you, Dot. Now to slow this down a little bit, look at this. This guy is pushing the fire button upwards of 16 times per second, using this weird bouncing technique, which I've never really seen anyone else do. Usually people use like a plastic ruler or something to cheat, but this is just a guy using his own abilities to do this. Who is this man, this monster of a gamer?
It's Uncle.
It's just some guy's uncle.
He's got Uncle vibes, right?
I can see it. He looks a little avuncular with it. Cartman, thank you for the 100 bits. On today's Retro Pals. Man, this announcer's really excited. So, this is Tokuyuki Takahashi. Wait, is that right? I wrote that down. This is Toshiyuki Takahashi, aka Takahashi Meijin, who worked at Hudson at the time. He wasn't really a gamer per se. That wasn't why they hired him. We'll find out more about his role at the company in a second. But this became what he was known for in popular culture throughout the 80s. The ability to push a button upwards of 16 times per second and just completely own the shit out of Star Soldier. This game had a lot of hidden secrets that required you to basically either push the button really fast or use the turbo controller. And a lot of points that you could get, they would award 1-ups, which allow you to do better in the game, so if you could mash a lot, you could probably just beat this shit, no problem. And thus begins the story of Takahashi Meijin. Famicom game, something. I don't know what those kanji are.
Famicom Game Master?
I don't know, maybe.
Okay.
Kick Johnny Turbo's
haunted?
ass. Yeah, it's a little bit haunted.
I don't like that.
Don't worry about it.
Okay.
All good gaming content is at least a little bit haunted. Yeah, Johnny No Turbo. Take that, Johnny Turbo. Pretty cool, huh? Man, I bet getting this video would be the highlight of your week in Japan back then. Like your hero, Takahashi Meijin, in the flesh. He's doing it for real. This wasn't just a legend. He's a real guy. With real thoughts and real feelings. And over here at Hudson, you get a pretty nice look at the company, circa 1986 or so. This is him in his regular job. He was in sales.
Really?
He approached different stores around Japan, called them up, visited them, be like, hey, we got these Hudson games. You wanna stock them, please? And I guess he was pretty good at his job because he kept it for many, many years.
Wow.
I'm really glad that they kept this footage in particular that shows him just doing his boring day job. Just in a suit. Nicely kept hair, no hat.
Very nice. I've never... What?
And at one point, he was a baby.
Okay.
This is a full-ass biography, folks. they really dive into his own personal history. Believe it or not, Takahashi Meijin was a baby. Yeah, he was a baby, and then he was a kid.
No way.
Can you believe this shit?
Oh, I like the bear.
And then I guess he grew up to be a sort of Paul Bunyan figure, riding around on bears and cutting down trees with axes. I don't know what that was about. He was a 20-year-old baby.
Okay.
All this is to say, this guy in 1986 was
Danny, what's this?
basically a legend on the Famicom. You would buy VHS tapes that had interviews with him, that showed him playing games. You would track down all the different media that featured him. You wanted to know more about this guy.
So he's got a motorcycle and he plays guitar.
Yeah, he's kind of a badass.
I didn't know he was so cool.
I was really glad to discover this footage. Thanks again to Kabuses for archiving this.
Oh yeah, thank you.
Yeah, we gotta get some B-roll of him on his cool hog. Previously, he worked as a seller at a vegetable stand, apparently.
Oh wow!
Before finding his true calling as a salesman for Hudson. Look at that old ass computer.
Thank you, Carmen, for being a bitch. Takahashi Meijin Island versus Takeshi's Castle.
Oh my God, Takahashi Meijin versus Beat Takeshi. Holy shit. Beat Takeshi would kill the shit out of him. Don't do it. Don't fight. You guys shouldn't fight.
They should game together.
So we're only going to see a minute or so more of this, but I wanted to establish that yes, this was an actual guy with an actual job at Hudson, until at one point he just developed the ability to fire really fast in his video games. Or rather, Hudson's video games. That was important because Hudson also released controllers. You saw him using one of those back then. So having a face to put to the product really helped sell those things. And really increased the profile of those Famicom games too, by extension. That's the average player.
Sorry, he's got a Mercedes-Benz hat. This is the coolest guy alive.
Yeah, he's pretty cool. We're going to get to see how he lives in a second. We're going to get to go inside his apartment.
I'm kind of nervous.
Me too, but we gotta do this. He's taking us on his hog. How are they getting this footage? Wait a minute.
They're driving alongside him.
I guess, yeah,
like
I guess so.
Outside the car window, yeah.
Okay. Famicom Meijin. Meijin just means like master or pro or whatever.
Okay.
And here he is. At home. He's
with
just
all his laser discs.
He's just like you and me. He's got his anime laser discs. He's got his guitars. He's got 2 CRTs, which was incredible for 1986.
Oh
hey,
my God!
what?
I'm sorry.
Oh, I'm sorry. Okay, we'll play Star Soldier.
We're
We'll play Star
We're done.
Soldier.
Okay.
It's chill. It's cool.
We're cool. We're cool, dude.
I love Adventure Island. Wonder Boy? Never heard of him. Fuck Wonder Boy. Fuck Sega. I'll say whatever. It's fine. We're friends, right? Just whew. Okay, Alex, let's book it. Get out of here. We gotta go. Huh. Okay. Whew. I didn't think we'd make it out of that one alive. So there you go. That's your basic introduction to Takahashi Meijin, motorcyclist, airsoft gun enthusiast, and a guy who could push a button really, really fast for an extended period of time.
I'm glad he didn't kill us.
I cracked up when I got to that part of the video. They just cut to it pointing a gun at you. Like, Jesus, that means a little bit of a different context viewing this as a Texan as opposed to a Japanese person. All right, so this guy, this Takahashi Meijin, this Toshiyuki Takahashi, he featured in a whole bunch of video games, and that's what we're here to finally cover to fulfill what our patrons wanted to see. Let's start off with this one. '86 in Japan, '87 in the US. It's Hudson's Adventure Island. This game has really good music. I think this soundtrack is really underrated. Yeah, the OST is really good. Wonder Boy no longer. He kept the grass skirt, but put on a hat. You can tell it's him because he's got that prominent chin. And I gotta say, even though this doesn't look as good as arcade Wonder Boy, this is still a pretty nice looking NES game for '86. You ever play this one?
Me? Yes, tons of times. I played this quite a bit. Because I was like, oh, it's Adventure Island. I've heard of this. This has got to be good, right?
Over 1 million sold in Japan, as the box said. I remember all those early Hudson games being like, oh, over 1 million sold, or Milon Secret Castle being like, over 250,000 sold, or something.
Yeah.
But I think this is the game that really put Hudson on the map as like a really good third-party publisher back then. Maybe not on the level of, say, Capcom or Konami, but they made some neat stuff. A chin like Homsar, exactly.
Oh, he does have Homsar's chin. You're eating all the fruit.
Yep, that's what he does best. Takahashi Meijin loves fruit. I assume so, being the manager of a vegetable stand. Apparently.
I guess so, yeah. I guess that puts this in context.
I've seen a lot of VTubers play this lately. Professor Bloom played through the whole thing, played through the whole series recently, actually, and really enjoyed it. I've seen people approach this game being like, okay, it's one of the better-known NES platformers, we gotta play this, we gotta do this as a rite of passage. And those people, those poor, unfortunate fools, are just completely brutalized by this game.
Yeah!
Because the second half of this game is some of the most brutal platforming I have ever seen in any video game in my life. It's not so much unfair as it is just, it layers so many enemies and challenges on top of each other. There's so many things to keep track of, to remember. You may even need to memorize later parts of the game, too. I think this was one of the earlier challenges on Game Center CX.
I remember that! I was thinking about that, and how it, like, nearly killed, like, the entire staff.
Yeah. Not only could Arino not finish it, but the staff stayed behind to clear this game, and it took them something like 13 hours start to finish.
It was really sad. It was really, like, painful.
Do not underestimate Adventure Island. Like, it's a good game, it's a classic, it's well remembered for a reason, but be ready to just... If you're gonna throw yourself at this game, it's gonna take probably like 15 hours your first clear or so. Sites like How Long to Beat will tell you this takes 2 hours to beat.
Wrong.
Which is pretty funny. I imagine some people see that and they'll be like, oh, that sounds like a fun stream. We'll do this and have plenty of time for Contra or whatever after that. And then they just end up playing nothing but this over the course of months.
Sobbing, crying, gnashing their teeth.
Pissing, shitting. But it's still a good game, despite the pissing and shitting.
Despite the pissing and shitting? Okay.
And look at that! He has a little fairy friend named Honey. That's pretty interesting.
That is cool.
Now, the fairy was in Wonder Boy, but she wasn't named there. She finally gets a name, Honey, in this game, Adventure Island.
Well, good for her.
Yeah, good for her. Finally being a named female video game character. Kind of rare back then, I suppose. Oh, I like this. There's such a sense of fun to how it controls. Like, it's a little slippery, but not so much you can't control it at all. Yeah, good for her.
Good for her.
I wouldn't say this is harder than Wonder Boy. I think the level layouts are pretty much identical. If anything, Wonder Boy on Master System, I think, added an extra level or something. I don't know the details on that, though. Alright, so with this ominous music playing, let's check out the many different versions of Adventure Island that were released.
Okay. Let's see here.
Bring up that beautiful box art. There's that US version. Hudson's Adventure Island. Over 1 million sold in Japan. If you look at that little badge there, it actually says Takahashi on it, which is funny.
It does, yeah.
I think back then Hudson didn't have the budget to commission original art for their US versions of games, so they were forced to use the incredible original Japanese art. This is from Suzumi Matsushita, who is the cover artist for Famitsu, along with stuff like Maximo. Maximo, I don't know why I said it like that. This guy, I mentioned before, pretty well-known artist in Japan. His art can really sell a product. He's known for his bulbous characters and big shiny boobs. So look out for that if you look for his art on Google.
Okay, cool. What's next?
In Japan, the same cover art. What the hell? How often does that happen? We actually got the exact same cover art here in the US, but here's a little bit of a better look at it.
Very nice.
Look at that. That would sell me on the game, I think.
It's very cool. I like all the action.
Me too, me too. Alright, so by the time this came to Europe, they already had Adventure Island 2, so that game was so much of a success that they reissued the original game for the first time in Europe as Adventure Island Classic, like it's Coke Classic or something. It has an original piece of Matsushita art, which I think is pretty interesting. It's not from the original. I've never seen that anywhere else. I wonder if that's just for this European version. How else did it come out? Oh no, game over.
Bug?
Okay, so those are the different versions of original Adventure Island, but what's this? Takahashi Meijin no Bug Honey. Bug Honey? Is that anything to do with his fairy friend named Honey? Well, yeah, pretty much. Let's load this up. we're about to see one of the most fucked up games ever released for the Famicom, and no one in the West knows about this. I'm gonna explain what makes this game so messed up, but first of all, let's load this shit up. Takahashi Meijin, no bug honey. Anyone out there got a bug honey?
No.
Alex, you're supposed to say yes and.
Oh, yes, and guess what? It's gay.
Good. That's good gay improv. So, Takahashi Meijin, no bug honey. I'll let the demo play itself for just a little bit here.
What's with the demons?
That I don't have an answer for, but
okay.
As for what Takahashi Meijin... Wow, good demo play. As for what Takahashi Meijin no bug honey is, it was an anime! This guy was so popular, he got his own anime spin-off featuring the fairy character, along with his character, Takahashi Meijin, from the first Takahashi Meijin game. And, alright, I gotta actually start playing this. I don't think there's anything else to explain at this point about the anime or whatever. It was a big multimedia thing. It had comics, this animated series. I wanted to show a clip from the anime, but it actually recently got remastered and put on DVD, so that's a DMCA risk.
Oh,
but
God, yeah.
I'm glad that it got at least some sort of attention. Now, if you go through your Famicom ROMs, you may have loaded this up once or twice and been like, what is this? How do I play this? And then 2 minutes in, you get frustrated and you're like, fuck it, I'm gonna play Mega Man.
Hey, that's what I would do, yeah.
On the surface, this looks like a Takahashi Meijin game, but first of all, you play as Honey. And what you gotta do is find all these hidden eggs. It all comes back to eggs. And then, it's Arkanoid.
Oh.
Oh, shit. That was a C, remember that.
Okay, C.
See if you can figure out what's going on under the hood of this game as we play this. So
I couldn't tell you.
In each level there is an overworld where you just basically explore, but the overworld and its side-scrolling gameplay is really only about 10% of what you spend your time doing in this game. Most of the time you end up in these worlds. A, is that correct? No, it's incorrect.
No.
You go into these breakout/Arkanoid style levels in order to collect 8 letters of a secret code word. What's the code word? You don't know that. What are the letters in the code word? You don't know that either. The only way to find it out is by collecting decoy letters in all these worlds. And each time you collect an incorrect letter, you die. And if you collect the correct letter, you don't die, and you get to progress.
What the hell?
Pretty fucked up, right? So there's 8 of these letters in each world, meaning you have to play through, at minimum, 8 of these Arkanoid sequences. And each one of these has something like 5 letters per. Is it L?
L.
It's not L.
Not L.
And only one of them is correct. And if you miss the letter, you have to go back and get it, because you need all 8 letters in order to finish each level. So that's what you're intended to do. You just intended to play these, find all the wrong letters, and then eventually find the correct one. And then eventually you piece together this code word, and you're able to progress to the next level where you do the exact same thing.
No!
That's not all, though. There's one trap level in these Arkanoid levels. You'll know this if you see a bunch of unbreakable bricks that spell out the word hell. These levels are almost impossible to finish. You need, like, really lucky shots in order to get through them. These worlds have no collectible letters in them. They're just there to trick you and to make you feel bad. Is it you? It's you! Holy shit!
It's you, baby!
Okay, I gotta finish this part then.
Okay.
Actually, I wasn't expecting to actually get a correct letter. So the whole thing is basically a huge exercise in trial and error. You'd have to take notes, or at least have a really good memory, to keep track of which of these levels have the different letters you need to collect, and which letters are the decoy letters, as opposed to the ones that you actually need to beat the game with. Does this sound fun to you, Alex? Because
No!
I'm really struggling to figure out what Hudson was thinking with this one. Maybe they were just pressed for time, right? Like, they had to get this out while the anime was still airing, and they were just like, I don't know, Arkanoid, whatever, we have to do this, we gotta make this. If I can actually finish one of these Arkanoid levels, this will be a magnificent gamer achievement.
Yes!
Oh.
Oh, come on.
Oh, come on. You gotta exit through the top, otherwise it doesn't count.
Okay,
you gotta do it all over again.
No, it's cool. You got this.
The number of lives you get in these segments depends on your life bar when you enter it from the overworld. So if you have a full life bar, you get 3 chances. Oh my god, there it is!
But, never mind.
What's the second part of the word, Alex?
Doesn't matter.
What's the second part of the word?
It doesn't matter.
Okay, Alex. Okay. So, in a way, this game's pretty neat. There's a lot of hidden stuff, so if you're into that, this may be a game to check out. There's also all these different little houses you can go into, which have boss characters in them. And these sub-areas also have hidden eggs in them, so keep an eye out for those. Now, if we were to continue playing this, I would have to play this one, figure out which letters are decoy letters and which ones are actual letters. To its credit, holy shit, R? No. To its credit, this game automatically speeds up your paddle to keep track of the ball, so you don't need to hit a speed up button or you don't need an analog controller. It's really simplified. It's simpler than it even seems to be with me playing it. But that doesn't make up for the fact that you're spending 90% of your time playing trial and error Arkanoid. Is it J? Fuck!
You missed the J.
You know, it probably wasn't J. This game is a mystery to me. It's an outlier for Wonder Boy, and for Adventure Island, and for Takahashi Meijin. I don't know if anyone can say to have played this and enjoyed it. Oh, right! The power-ups you get, like the one I got that destroyed all the blocks, it can destroy blocks that have the letters that you need. So, I think that's what happened. So if we were to continue playing this, I'd have to re-enter this part and not collect that power-up this time.
You got letter locked, yeah.
Yeah, we got letter locked. Just a real cool, real mysterious game, this one. I do want to show off a second level, though, so let's go ahead and cheat.
Okay.
Now let's go ahead and do can't be hit. And let's do password complete on exit. Let's go.
Bug-tte, honey.
Can I exit from here? Let's reset. Alright, opt out. Don't want to do the egg bullshit. Just flying around, just going straight to the exit. For all this game knows, we've collected all the letters and spent 12 hours finding all the decoys. Is this? This is the one. Yeah, here we go. Look, I beat level 1.
Oh, hey!
So sick of all these eggs. And look who it is.
Wait, are they in love?
I think so? You'll have to watch the anime to find out.
Bro, it's like the bee movie. Your girlfriend's a bee.
And that's all you see of Bug Honey for the rest of the game. The other levels you play as Takahashi Meijin. You can't fly anymore. You got his axes and whatever, but this time you're playing as him, and you're still collecting those fucking eggs. And that's Takahashi Meijin, no Bug Honey. Holy shit, that letter was correct. That's like a 1 in a million chance. This one I really wanted to go into and explain because so few people know how to play this. Thanks once again, as usual, to Random Stranger and Family Daily for his episode explaining how this game works and how tremendously fucked up it is. If you want one of the most challenging Famicom games that no one has ever heard of or ever attempted, do this one. No one will know how big of an achievement it is to finish this, but you'll know. You'll know. Whew. Okay, that was the part of the stream I was worried about. I was worried the Arkanoid parts wouldn't cooperate, but fortunately, here we are. You too can suffer through Takahashi Meijin, no Bug Honey. You probably shouldn't, though.
Don't do it. Love yourself, folks.
So after that, many, many, many years passed, actually. Takahashi Meijin resumed his job in sales. He was still basically a mascot for Hudson at the time. But when it came time for the Famicom to enter its twilight years, Hudson was like, what other games can we make? What other things can we cash in on? What rights do we have to make new games? Well, it was this one. Adventure Island 2, also known as Takahashi Meijin no Bokenjima 2. Who's played this one?
I've played it, and he's a little guy, and he's got a friend.
He's got friends in this one. He's got little dinosaur pals.
Played this as a kid. Loved it because of the Dino Friends. Nice.
Yeah, I rented this as a kid, and I remember it being really, really fun, actually. This game, when Bloom played it like a week ago, he was really surprised at just how quality this game is. And looking at it in retrospect, this looks really fun, actually. The graphics are nice. It's got some bouncy music. And it's not as brutal as the first game is. It's actually playable by human beings, and you can even enjoy it. Unfortunately, it's missing the Arkanoid segments from bug-tte, so...
Oh, man, but how am I going to do Breakout?
I don't know what they were thinking. I just can't really say what Hudson was thinking at this point. Let's play a little bit of it.
Okay.
Yeah, what a shame, what a shame. So this is not internal Hudson. They subcontracted this to Now Production.
Really?
A studio that made basically all the console-exclusive Splatterhouse games. So, Wanpaku Graffiti for Famicom, and Splatterhouse 2 and 3 for Mega Drive. They also made Yo Noid, which is pretty funny. I'm just gonna say it. This game's a little bit better than Yo Noid, much as I love Yo Noid.
Thank you, Bill Bull, for the 14-month resub. Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you, Bill.
And thank you, Carmen, for the 50 bits. This game was also cut in many pieces and appears in countless bootlegs. That I definitely have seen this in bootlegs.
Oh yeah, bootlegs like those NES multi-carts. They even bootleg just like the background art. Like they'll use the island setting as just like the menu, so you can select Circus Chablis or Super Mary Brothers.
Was that a good egg?
I guess so.
Okay.
Nowadays, the sound cues just make me think of the Holly Heck Maybe stream, because those always go off while she's streaming. But this one's fun. I actually want to revisit this one after seeing Bloom play through it, because it looks like a nice, breezy playthrough. At least till the last couple of levels, which get kind of tough, but not nearly to the extent that Adventure Island 1 did. So way to go, Hudson. Way to go, Now Production. And way to go, bug-tte, for not including your Arkanoid levels in this. So, how was this released? Let's check out some box art. Here's the one in the US. Hudson at this point was much bigger, so they hired an artist to make official US art. It doesn't look as good as the Japanese art, but it still looks okay for the time. Let's see that original Japanese art.
Oh, that's so much better!
So, this one was also ported to Game Boy, which also had the same cover art, which you're seeing here. Takahashi Meijin no Bokenjima 2. Notice up there, they call it the Adventure Island.
Oh.
So, officially, this is Adventure Island worldwide, which just makes it even more confusing why that one PC Engine game was called Adventure Island. Why? Why? So that makes sense. It's Adventure Island 2 on NES, Adventure Island 2 on Game Boy. When the Game Boy one came to the US, of course, it was called Adventure Island. Oh boy, here we go. We're back in the shit again. I like that this copy is sealed. Make sure you never open it. It's going to be worth $1 million someday. I don't know why they did this, but they got rid of the number. It's just called Adventure Island. I guess because there was never an Adventure Island 1 on the Game Boy, so they felt the need to just call it that. Meanwhile, in Europe, they called it Hudson's Adventure Island, and used the cover art from the Famicom game, so really this is Adventure Island 2, but using the cover art and title from Adventure Island 1. This is a Mattel game, so I think this is an Australian version.
Oh, God.
I'm pretty sure it got the same title in Europe as well, though, so thanks for making it even more complicated. Why don't you call it Wonder Boy 7 or whatever?
Wonder Boy 7, Monster Boy 5, the Dragon's butt.
BAP. Let's move on. Takahashi Meijin no Bokenjima 3. This came out even later. At this point, the Famicom is basically, it has no market share compared to the Super Famicom or PC Engine. The lovely Tina has been kidnapped again, this time by aliens, I guess?
What do aliens? Well, none of my business what aliens want with her. Cool font.
Oh, these games have such a nice, clean look to them. This is pure 8-bit art. This is art to me.
You found the Game Boy version under a hotel bed and you were a kid, so you just kept it. That's great.
Whoa, awesome. That's a good way to get a game. So this one, they actually changed the controls to be much more responsive. You can change your direction in midair. He no longer just drifts after a long jump. And they keep his animal friends. They add one new dinosaur, I think. But here's one thing I want to point out, right? Wonder Boy. Starting in Monsterland, he came out of the woods, he put on clothes, he got human weapons. He subsumed himself into modern society, right?
Yeah.
Meanwhile, Master Higgins, aka Takahashi Meijin, looked at the grass skirt and was like, no, I like that. Let's keep that. And he just stayed on the island. He never became part of our society. He's just an island man, and his island woman, and his dinosaur friends, and that's all he needs.
Can you blame him, though?
It seems like a pretty dangerous place, though.
Yeah, but he's got, like, all this free fruit.
True.
We have to pay for our fruit.
That's true. He doesn't have to worry about earning money. He doesn't even have to know what currency is. Alex, get me a grass skirt.
Okay, let's go.
Let's find this adventure island and live there.
Okay.
Otherwise, it's very similar to the first two games. I just think it's really funny that while Wonder Boy went off on its own direction, and some games just kept the Wonder Boy name but evolved the formula and the world, Takahashi Meijin, he's happy here on this island. Him and his grass skirt and his hat, and his lovely lady Tina who keeps getting kidnapped, his dinosaur pals.
Yeah, it sucks if she gets kidnapped. That's a big, big problem, you know?
Someone should do something about that.
Yeah! Make, you know,
Let's introduce the concept of police to the adventure
I was
island.
thinking more public service announcements that say that kidnapping is wrong.
Oh, you think so?
Yeah.
Would that do it?
I mean, if the PSA was good enough, let's get the people who did the This Is Your Brain on Drugs PSA.
Well, you don't like my concept of Police Island? What's wrong with that? I think
they
the series...
should do a police island that's like 20 police per resident. Sorry.
Suddenly, Takahashi Meijin has taxes to pay. The police keep gobbling up the budget of the whole adventure island. It gets real complicated. You know what? I can see why he stayed on the island now.
Yeah.
Oh, here's the new friend. Look at that.
Oh, it's a roly-poly.
Yeah, it's a roly-poly dino.
Aww.
Oh, sorry about that. These backgrounds look really nice. This looks like a... this reminds me of the freaking Wagian Land games for Famicom, which Now Production also did.
They did? Okay, I thought this was Wagian Land.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I was just saying the stuff we would better know them for, since we never got any of the Wagian games over here.
That's fair. I'm the only Wagian freak here.
I thought you could stand on the cloud. Oh well. And with that, that's the final Adventure Island game we got for the NES here in the good old US of A, aka Police Island. But we got one more game to show off for the Famicom that didn't get a US release. Folks, did you know that there is a Takahashi Meijin no Bokenjima 4?
Did we want to show off the Adventure Island 3 box art?
Oh yeah, let's do that. Thank you, Alex. Yeah, keep me on task here.
I got box art for you. Look at him.
By this point, he's the way they depict him on the US covers is kind of weird. He's got like a dad bod. He's showing it off. He's loud and proud about who he is.
I love it. I'm sorry. I love the way that the skirt is rendered around him. It's very nice.
It's cool, right?
A little sensual. Yeah, let's go.
How about the other versions? All right, in Japan,
I like that one.
It looked like that. That is a Suzumu Matsushita art if I've ever seen one. Holy shit. That classic rounded, shaded look to it. So, it also came out on Game Boy, where in Japan it was called Takahashi Meijin no Bokenjima 3. Okay, just like the Famicom game. So, when it came time to release that Game Boy game in the US and Europe, guess what they called it? That's right, Adventure Island 2.
Aliens in Paradise.
You keep digging a hole deeper and deeper. You can't do this. You can't call Adventure Island 3 Adventure Island 2. What are we doing here? What are we even doing here? I do like that they made original art of him here riding a different dinosaur. He looks like he's having a good time. Meanwhile, elsewhere in the world...
Okay, Adventure Island 2.
This is the European box art, I want to say. Like, they called it Adventure Island 2, but again, they got the original Matsushita art. Well, not from the original game. It's like its own thing that they commissioned just for the game itself. Only to call it Adventure Island... whatever. Anyway, there was also a Chinese version, I want to say. Check this out. Where it's called,
oh my gosh!
Where it's called The Adventure Island 2. Hudson actually had a little bit of a presence in China and Taiwan in particular. There was an official ROM hack, I guess you could call it, of the original Adventure Island, which was called I have it written down here, Kitty Sun in Fantasia. I've never played this, but apparently the Taiwanese branch of Hudson, which briefly existed apparently, released that version over there. So he's a worldwide phenomenon, Mr. Worldwide over here.
I guess so.
Alright, let's show off the box art for Takahashi Meijin no Bokenjima 4.
Okay.
Which, blessedly, is just this. There's no other variants, no other regions, just pure Takahashi Meijin.
He looks so cool.
He does look cool. He looks like he's ready for adventure at this point, which makes sense. He's been through a lot. Even though he's never left that island, he's been through a hell of a lot. So let's check that out. Alex, I want to say this is the final Famicom game ever released from any company. This is the last one. Over here, our last NES game was Wario's Woods, but over in Japan in 1994, it ended with Takahashi Meijin. Yeah, the final official Famicom game. I guess our final unofficial one was Sunday Fun Day, but...
Oh yeah, Sunday Fun Day.
Which in Japan is called Wonder Boy 12 Monster... No, I'm not gonna do it. I'm not gonna... What the fuck? What the...
Wait, what I meant?
Wait a second! Is this how you beat the game? Is the demo a speedrunner? I'm not doing this, Alex. Alex looked at my controller like I was entering a secret code or something, but no. I think the demo got desynced. Let's just play the game.
Okay.
It normally doesn't look like that.
Another villain!
Yeah. Only this time he's taking our dino pals.
No!
No, we love them. Not Rolly.
And that little roly-poly buddy?
But, you know what that means. They didn't take Tina.
Oh hey, good for her.
We built a house for her. We have a home. Here with our wife. Well, I assume there's no one here to marry us officially, but...
Yeah,
common law.
dinosaurs can.
Common law wife, I think is what you call it. We're just here at home. Whoa. It's already out of breath. You're still at home, dude. The adventure hasn't started. And she's here to see you off. See ya, honey. Well, not Honey. Honey's a different character. Long story. And Alex, would you believe it? This game took inspiration from the Monster World series. It's a free-roaming adventure game where you can backtrack and go to whole different areas. You can find new items that help you progress. New weapons, new everything. This is basically a Monster World game, just in the Adventure Island format.
Thank you, Game Quota, for the 71-month resub. Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you.
Uh-oh, you're low on health.
Yeah, you only start with you start with 2 hearts to begin with. You know what? I'm gonna take a death here.
Okay.
I want to at least make a little bit of progress. I just think it's funny that after 3 games of essentially doing the same thing as Wonder Boy 1, they finally looked at the other games in the Wonder Boy series, and they were like, you know what? Let's go ahead and do that. Let's take inspiration from that other series. We're gonna keep it on the island. He's still gonna have the grass skirt. He's still gonna be an island man with no sense of currency or a police system.
Good for him, honestly.
He's just gonna have a nice, relaxing Metroidvania adventure. It's really funny that it worked out this way. And it only happened at the very, very end of the Famicom's lifespan. Like, oh, I'm pretty sure those drops hurt you. They're from the Amiga.
You room temp for 25 bits. Where does Master Higgins keep all those bones? Yeah, he's got a lot of dead animal bones. Where does he...
All those snails he's been killing.
Oh.
Snails have bones.
Also, there's bones in the dirt, it looks like.
Oh, yeah. Man, this island is rich in minerals. There's also a bunch of mini-games you gotta do in order to finish things. Oh, this one you gotta mash. Let's see if I can do the 16 shot.
Nice.
Yeah, there we go. So from here on, you're gonna see a little bit of a mixture of Hudson's typical Adventure Island formula, along with stuff that they borrowed from Wonder Boy, because why not? You'll see a weird crisscrossing of the franchises. some cross-pollination, a little bit of shared influences and stuff like that. Just like the Beach Boys and the Beatles did back in the 1920s.
In the 1920s?
Yeah. A little bit of psychosis started to set in while I was planning this stream.
No. I love this.
I'm sorry to say, I may never be the same after this, after putting together the Adventure Island expose.
You know,
Yeah, the Summer of Love was 1927. That's what they called it back then.
I'm just thinking of 1920s music by the Beatles, and it's all like, "Oh, my baby, she's got a skirt."
Yeah, they're
and
singing
shows
through.
her ankles.
They're
and
singing
that
through
don't
a.
hurt.
They're singing it through a megaphone.
Yeah, it's just awful. On the Beatles and the Beach Boys fitting into a damn telephone booth, doing the Charleston on top of a flagpole.
Boy, John, this is really hard considering telephone booths haven't been invented yet. I don't know, maybe they had.
No, they had. That was a fad of the 1920s. Was telephone
Oh.
booths are brand new, and people were shoving as many people as they could into them as a college prank.
Wow, I'm glad they invented video games.
Yeah, me too.
And that is all of Takahashi Meijin, aka Adventure Island, on the NES. What do you think, Alex?
I think he died, but I think that was a really cute series.
Yeah, there was a little bit of a misstep with Bug Honey, but also that's kind of, it has a mystique to it, right? Like, it's so fucked up, it's kind of interesting just on its own. It's like an art piece, maybe. And then you had the Metroidvania game to cap it all off after some really solid sequels from Now Production. Had a really good run, and now we see him lying dead at our feet. Sorry, Master Takahashi.
Rip.
But we have a new chapter to explore.
Thank you, Carmen, for the 100 bits. Aruba, Jamaica. Ooh, I want to take you. Adventure Island, Bahama. Come on.
Come on, pretty mama.
Mm-hmm. Come on, bug-tte, mama.
Oh, okay. I fucking hate Kokomo. I'm sorry.
It's okay.
Sorry to all the Kokomo likers out there. I know this is a controversial opinion, but
It's not a It's Kokomo is a very contentious song. Remember we were talking about contentious stuff? It's Kokomo may as well call it contentious mo.
let's get in touch with Mike Love. I think we can reissue this. All right, so that was 94. 94 was the end of Takahashi Meijin no Bokenjima on Famicom. Let's jump back in time just by a couple of years. Back to 1992. You'll remember Hudson was a big backer and probably co-developer, I think, of the PC Engine, aka the TurboGrafx 16. You may be wondering, is there an Adventure Island game for PC Engine? Yes, it's called Adventure Island and it's Dragon's Curse, but there's another one, and it's called New Adventure Island. It's this one.
Room temperature 30 bits. Key Largo, Montego. Wonder Boy, where did we go?
Thank you. I deserve having Kokomo quoted at me after
You do, sorry.
after this stream's events. Well, look at that. They're finally officially getting married. I guess they do have, like, churches and priests there, and, well... He's taking our whole wedding party. This poor guy can't even get married.
Yeah, what the hell?
I really like this. God, that's so
That's
good.
a great shot.
New Adventure Island, released in Japan as Takahashi Meijin no Shin Bokenjima, or True Adventure Island. So I want to say this was the same year as 3 on NES, and a couple of years before 4. This one is also by Now Production. But let me just say, I really like the way this game's graphics look.
I was gonna say this game looks amazing.
The fruits especially are so large and detailed. Like the Famicom could never, right? The enemies have a nice bulbous cartoony look to them that I enjoy. Like the PC Engine wasn't really much more capable than the Famicom was. It had a 16-bit graphics processor, but was still 8-bit under the hood. But this game looks really nice. I really like how Takahashi Meijin looks here. Otherwise, not a remake of any of the previous games. It's got its own levels, got its own mechanics. The dinosaur pals aren't here. This is more of a purist take on Adventure Island. But even after getting married, Keeps that grass skirt.
Of course.
You cannot make this man put on a shirt. Actually, I guess, look, it's more of a tunic this time.
Okay.
It's got one of them Roman robes. What do you call those?
Togas?
Yeah, a toga. Like a grass toga.
Oh.
Yeah, this is TurboGrafx 16, aka PC Engine. Not to be confused with the PC Engine game Adventure Island. This game has arrows in it. Yep.
I just can't believe they called that one game Adventure Island. That's unfair.
I don't think we're ever going to get an answer that I'm satisfied with as to why that happened. Like, who in marketing let that happen? Was that even a Hudson thing? Was that... I wish I had answers for you, folks. Maybe we can interview old Takahashi Meijin one of these days. Unfortunately, he left Hudson after Konami took over because they quit making games.
Yeah.
And he was just more of a games man. For the latter part of his service at Hudson, he was basically just an executive anyway. He oversaw games, he executive produced them. I don't think he was even in sales after a point.
I feel like if a Hudson employee came up to me and was like, look at how cool I am at video games, I would definitely buy from them.
I would too, because he's a gamer, right?
Yeah.
You gotta trust your fellow gamer. If not,
You do.
who can you trust? No. This one plays pretty nice. It has the same crisp controls that were in Adventure Island 3, so it's a little bit more precise. And I like how this one looks. I don't think this is my favorite Adventure Island game graphically. We're gonna see that in a minute. But this one's worth checking out, I think. Anyone play this one? What are your thoughts? How does it compare to the other Adventure Islands if you played those?
And you exhausted him at the end of that level.
I'm exhausted. I'm already beat after going through like 50 different versions of Wonder Boy 5 or whatever. Alright, let's look at the box art for this game.
Okay.
Over here in the US, they released it looking like this.
Okay.
And in Japan, it looked like this. Look at that! See?
That's insane.
Is that so fucking hard? Releasing the game with the same title and the same art? Why? Why'd you do any of that you did before? Here on PC Engine, you're just like, okay, it can have normal box art and a normal title, it's fine.
Don't worry about it.
God damn it, you guys. Okay, so the year is still 1992, but Hudson is not done with Takahashi Meijin. No, sir. There's this new system out, right? It's like a Famicom, but it's super. They call it...
Ooh!
They call it the Super Famicom. And there was a couple of Adventure Island games released for it, so let's go ahead and play those. This first one, I really like it. I like this one a lot. This may be my favorite Adventure Island game. I know a lot of people prefer the Famicom sequels, but just the audio-visual presentation of this game really... There's something about it that really resonates with me for whatever reason. This is Super Adventure Island. It is kind of sad the dinosaurs didn't come back. I do miss the Dino Buddies. So let me know if you've heard this story before. He's got a girlfriend named Tina, and she's been turned to stone.
I don't like that she's turned to stone, Danny.
Yeah, Dino Buddy's too complicated for the Super Nintendo. That would require extra graphical banks or something. Let's play this. This one ranked really, really high on our Mascot Friday list. Something that people take issue with, but...
I don't care.
I like this game. I think it's really cool and bright and colorful, and it sounds great.
Hey, this sounds amazing.
Yeah. Turn it down a little for us. Thank you. So the soundtrack by Yuzo Koshiro. The guy,
Oh, okay.
the Revenge of Shinobi and Streets of Rage guy. And there's a lot of bad-sounding Super Nintendo games out there. I say this as a Mega Drive fan.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
This is not one of them. This game sounds incredible. Even the sound effects have a nice bounciness to them. Still can't keep the damn skateboard. No, I can't die in level 1. Let's run that back. Give me that. Anyone play this one? What are your thoughts as to how this relates to the Famicom versions? Because I wouldn't be surprised if some people prefer the Famicom ones. Maybe even most people.
This so far seems preferable to the Famicom one, but maybe I'm a hater. Snubble played this a lot and liked it a lot.
There's just something about it. Like, it's really short, even. I think there's only 4 worlds of 4 levels each. So even compared to the Famicom sequels, it's pretty slight of a game. But man, just everything about it just looks super cool to me.
Danny, he's so detailed.
This game isn't as good as Willy Wombat. All right, everyone, let's reignite the Willy Wombat argument.
No way.
I think it sucks. No, that's for a future stream.
Yeah, we will do a re-ranking of Willy Wombat when the time is right.
Funnily enough, Willy Wombat, also a game directed by Ryuichi Nishizawa, I think his name is, who directed all the Wonder Boy and Monsterland games. I had to think about that. That's why I fell in the waterfall and died. So there is a Willy Wombat connection. Willy Wombat, released in the United States as Takahashi Meijin no Wombat.
I wish Willy Wombat started Wombat in a grass skirt.
This is a Super Nintendo-ass Super Nintendo game.
It is! I love it. I love the Super... See, Danny's Genesis, I'm Super Nintendo, and somehow we get along!
This game might be the one to convert me to be a Super Nintendo fan.
Nice.
I say this having a Super Nintendo as a kid, so I like it just fine. I only ever rented this one, I never owned it, but just something about it. It's got that, you know, the French word.
Je ne sais quoi.
That's it, thank you.
You're welcome.
That's why I have you here, to fill in the blanks.
It's because of my French knowledge.
It's, you know, the French word. Not even a word, a phrase. Ah, Adventure Island. There it is. There's purity here. It's just a man in a grass skirt on an island. No need to say any more than that. Except I guess they did need to say more than that because there's a Super Adventure Island too, but we'll get to that in a second. Let's see the box art for this game. So what did they make Master Higgins look like in the US? They made him look like that, of course. The classic US dad bod version.
Love him.
Again, they don't put him in a suit, they don't give him a shirt, they just let him and his full self hang all out. Proud of him. Proud of him for being so confident. He has a rat tail?
Oh yeah, he's got a little rat tail there.
Holy shit. I didn't think he could get any cooler. I don't remember. I think you do ride a minecart in this. Maybe you do. It's been a while since I played through the whole thing. Meanwhile, in Japan, gets the Matsushita art, of course.
Very nice.
Looking really good, really detailed. Fits the vertical format really nicely. But I can see why it wouldn't really fit a US art, box art, so whatever.
I guess that's...
And yeah, go ahead and show that.
Okay.
Here in a second, we're going to see Super Adventure Island 2, which came out a couple of years later in 1994. And in Japan, it looked like this.
Oh, very nice.
The same art! Hey, we did it again! We can still have the same art worldwide. We don't have to have a different US cover for some reason. Alright, here we go. Super Adventure Island 2, the last Adventure Island game on Super Nintendo. Yeah, way to go, guys. Proud of you. I knew you could do it. That same boob art.
Down in Kokomo.
No, come on. Okay, they're officially married now. This takes place after the Higgins and Tina wedding, so put that on your chronology chart. Yeah, no longer living in sin. They made it official. God just cannot leave this guy alone, you know? He sees this man and his woman living in peaceful, pure harmony, and he's like, fuck that! My glove kidnaps the wife now. Thank you,
No,
Cartman, for the 100
thank
bits.
you.
I'm going to skip this because that's red and blue flashing.
Thank you for doing that. I wasn't going to say anything. I'm just going to be like, man.
Ooh.
Oh, it talks.
Intro brought to you by Porygon.
Danny, there's a localization prototype where the intro calls Tina his luscious wife.
Whoa. I've noticed this this localization it's really fond of adjectives and adverbs. Like if I could call any 16-bit game overwritten, this might be one of them. Like it's a really simple story, but the writer just went all in for whatever reason, which I guess is better than your typical stilted translation, but it's still kind of weird for such a simple game to get kind of a complex script. Oh no, this guy also had his wedding ceremony.
Monster of outrageous brutality.
He was also wedding interrupted. Fidget, thank you for the sub.
Thank you.
Yeah, he went to Dragon Quest Land. I'd like to come, but I'm committed to defending the castle.
Ooh, I'm so fancy.
And look at this. Master Higgins has been introduced to the idea of currency, thus dooming his world a la Mother 3.
I was going to say, I know it's like Mother 3.
So in this one, he puts on clothes. He finally gets clothes. I don't think even in Adventure Island 4 for Famicom he got armor or anything. Eventually in this one you can get a full set of armor, like swords and shields and shit. Can you afford such luxury? No, I can't. The man who corrupted Higgins. Never forget his name.
That's so sad.
So look at this. You got an overworld map. You got these RPG interstitials. You have mysterious stone tablets. You got a full-ass action RPG here, along the lines of, say, a Popful Mail or whatever.
Or a Wonder Boy.
Or maybe even a Monster World, you're right. It all comes back to Wonder Boy and his Monster World. I've never played much of this, so we'll see how far I can get. Probably not very. Alex, this game has random encounters.
That's sick.
So help me God. They fully corrupted this poor, pure boy. He now has to worry about money and random encounters. Now newly burdened by modern society.
I know! This sucks, man!
From what I've played, though, this game seems pretty good. Like, it's pretty well put together, pretty complex. It's a long game, too. There's a lot to this. Fua Fua Island, that means fluffy. And Waku Waku means, who wants to tell me what Waku Waku means?
Painful?
No, it's not painful.
Here,
Exciting is a good way to put it, yeah.
Thank you, Ramon, for the 6-month resub. So glad y'all covering this. Yeah, we're going deep into the wild world of the Wonder Boys.
We finally had to do it. It's the gamer's rite of passage. Thank you. Okay, we finally found an actual level so we can play this. So you play more of this and you realize, you know what? This is literally a Monster World game. Look, Tails is here too. You can punch him right in the face.
Wow, you punched the shit out of Tails.
I just think it's interesting that it took this long for them to finally adapt the whole Wonder Boy Monster World formula to it, but they really committed to it. They didn't half-ass this whatsoever. They even got an actual translator to work on it, which even in 1994 is pretty rare. You ever play, speaking of shitty localizations, you ever play Breath of Fire 2?
No. Wait, have I?
I played that back in the day, and even as a tiny baby, I was like, this is shit. This is written like garbage. Like, for that to stand out, even as an uncritical kid just playing video games, you had to really mess that up. Yeah, check out Breath of Fire 2 if you want just an incomprehensible mess of a localization. It's kind of impressive. God damn it.
I should check that out, actually.
It's still playable, it's just written incredibly badly.
Breath of Fire 2 famously swaps yes and no options. Oh, that's good.
Yeah, it's neat. Oh, okay. We got switches now? And I have to worry about money? everyone except for Waku Waku and Fua Fua. Now I like this one. Does anyone not like this? This game seems pretty well liked. If anything, you may take issue with the fact that it's so different from the previous Adventure Island games, but I think it makes sense at this point after making so many simple left-to-right egg collecting adventure games that you would just make something a little more complex. I suck ass at it, though.
Poor pig. Aww,
Oh.
Hawk died!
The pig's bird friend came and avenged him.
Oh, good for him.
Hell.
I like those laughs.
And that's the evolution of Master Higgins, aka Master Takahashi Meijin, across the NES, Famicom, Super Nintendo, and Super Famicom, and PC Engine and TurboGrafx. And for the 90s, for the 20th century, that's it. We bid farewell to Master Higgins. He did a lot. He was formative in making the Famicom as big of a success as it was. He was big in making Hudson as big of a success as it was. But the time for him had passed, and they stopped making Adventure Island games after that. Until 2003 and the release of the GameCube. Did you know that there was a GameCube Adventure Island game? It was also released for PS2, I think. This was released as part of the, oh, you're gonna wanna, yeah, there you go. We don't want to see them. We're done with them. Yeah, until the GameCube era, when Hudson decided to revive several of its properties and go full-on retro nostalgia mode. They rebooted Lode Runner. They rebooted fucking, what was the other games in this series? Bonk. Bonk also got a reissue on the Super Famicom. I mean, the GameCube and PS2. I'm trying to turn off the mister in the background. Can you...
Oh, yeah.
There we go. I did it without even being able to see it.
Wow.
Nice. That's gamer.
That's talent. Gamer talent.
Anyway, essentially you can think of this as Simple 2000, The Adventure Island, because you can tell that they put very little budget towards it. It was released at a budget price. I think it actually was 2,000 yen. And now we're about to see it. So why don't you load up Dolphin and load up the second to last game in that list.
This one?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, there was a GameCube Bonk. Maybe someday we'll see that on stream. I'm curious about that Lode Runner game. Can you hand me the blue controller? The Adventure Island. Yeah. Now, this one is just Takahashi Meijin, no Bokenjima. Your favorite.
Okay, we're good.
Let's start the adventure. I had almost completely forgotten about this one until researching this stream, and then I was like, holy shit, they did make this. They really did revive Adventure Island for GameCube and PS2. So let's see what this looks like. This should probably look even better than even Super Adventure Island, right? Considering it's GameCube.
What is this?
Well, this is what 2,000 yen gets here. Look at the snail. Something about the snail's face really cracks me up.
Hi, Danny. Please don't kill me. I'm Mr. Snail.
I'm the snail from Adventure Island.
Oh, I'm getting beaten up.
I like the JPEG background. It really does look that undetailed.
Hey, that JPEG background. Oh, wow. Oh, Danny, I didn't realize how shit it looks. Amazing.
Yeah, if you're wondering why no one talks about the Adventure Island GameCube game, well, you're looking at it. I've never heard anyone talk about this game, either good or bad. This seems to be almost entirely forgotten. I think even back then, these games were kind of obscure. It was just like, hey, we're making budget games, a la the D3 Simple series. Yeah, there we go. The Simple 2000 series had something like 100 games on PS2, so I can see why other companies wanted some of that money. And I mean, why not leverage your old IP while you're at it?
I just don't know. Oh my god.
Look at that fire.
That's awful.
That's a GeoCities gif. It controls kind of strange too, like he no longer has that slipperiness to him that he had in the early Famicom games, but that was just a real frog I destroyed. I didn't get a good look at it, but it looked like an actual frog.
No, it did look like a frog. Chat, we had a frog come into our house the other day.
Yeah.
And,
Buttons, our cat, had cornered what I thought was a leaf by our door, but then he poked at it and it hopped. So I was like, oh my god, okay. And I scooped it up and put it outside.
Yeah, Buttons was like very gently touching it on the head.
Yeah, I don't think he'd ever seen a frog before, so he didn't know what to do.
He was just like, okay, cool. Very, like, the most gentle taps on the frog. Just, I'm sorry, Buttons has the opposite of the killer instinct in him.
Yeah, it was heartwarming.
It was really cute.
Any other cat would be like, delicious.
I know, that would have beaten the shit out of that boy.
I'm not sold on this one. Even considering the fact that so few people talk about it, that it could be good or it could be bad, I'm thinking if this game was better known, people would think it was bad. Level-wise, it looks like it's just the Famicom game. I'm seeing a lot of familiar... That was just a pig.
Why not?
I'm seeing a lot of familiar stuff from the first game, so I don't know if this is just a straight-up reskin or its own thing. Look at those.
This kind of belongs forgotten. I don't disagree.
Yeah. Still, nice that he got a new game. That he entered the 21st century. You think he's still married?
Oh god, he does have. This game does have I'm newly divorced vibes. Like it's like going from this lushly rendered house that was, designed by your wife to your like studio apartment that looks like this.
Takahashi Meijin appeared on GameCube after buying a Cybertruck. Oh, it keeps track of how many fruits you found. Oh, so there's a completion percentage to this. The game looks like it's in pain when you move really fast. It kind of does. It kind of hitches and stutters. It doesn't want to be played. I will say, I'm glad to have the original music back. The first game's music, kind of disappointing they didn't, iterate on it in the future games, but this one finally does. That part sounds okay.
Thank you, Carmen, for the 100 bits. They took my kids away, Wonder Boy.
Wonder Boy remains happily married to whoever he married.
A dragon.
Yeah, probably a dragon. He and the dragon got gay married in Monster World. It's okay, they allow that.
Good for them.
It's still playable. This doesn't play badly. It just looks like shit. Sorry, Takahashi Meijin. I gotta pull an internet reviewer on you here and be like, sorry, you look like shit. I can't just lie to the audience. Not the eggplant! We hadn't seen that before. So there's a cursed eggplant you can get from some of the eggs that makes you extra hungry. It makes you collapse from hunger. That's been there since the first game. Is this all we need to see of this?
I think we're good on Takahashi Blomby.
Like, why did New Adventure Island and Super Adventure Island look so good, considering the hardware, while this looks like this? What happened? Did you have to make everything polygonal? Did you have to use the JPEG backgrounds? I have many questions. But that's Takahashi Meijin no Bokenjima for GameCube as part of the, whatever Hudson's Simple series was called. Oh, we can look at the box for that too.
Oh, yeah, let's show that off here.
Assuming you want to track down a copy, here's what it looks like.
Why has he got kind of a sexy pose?
He is
Sorry,
kind
I
of.
said that.
He is kind of sexily posing. It's like he's trying to do the Sonic Adventure pose almost.
Yeah, that is really Sonic Adventure-esque. Alright, and this is...
Next up, he's back. Along with the remake, they released a compilation for GBA, so let's quickly check that out.
Okay.
Yeah, close that window and bring me up a Mr. window, if you would. This was common on GBA. Last time around, we did this sort of character-focused stream. We covered Ninja Jajamaru, Jalico's ninja guy, and he had a compilation release for GBA. It wasn't very good, but this is Hudson, right? Let's see if they can do any better.
What they're doing. Right?
This is Hudson Selection Volume 4, Takahashi Meijin no Bokenjima. Released in 2000...
Is it 4 or 6?
No, 6, you're right.
Okay.
Shit, I mixed it up. Volume 6, released in 2006. I was gonna fuck up the titles at some point. Let's play this thing.
How could you fuck up Monster Boy 3, Wonder Boy 2, The Dragon's Trap 12?
Oh, yeah, there you go. I didn't even get to Monster Boy, which is like its own thing. It's not part of the series. It's like a spiritual successor. Don't worry about it. There's also Wonder Boy Returns, which was made for PS4 a couple years ago. And they were like, hey, we fully remade Wonder Boy and added new stuff to it and new mechanics and new bosses. And everyone was like, we fucking hate this. So they were like, sorry, we're pulling this from the store and releasing Wonder Boy Returns Remix, which removes all the new shit and just makes it the first game again. And everyone was like, we don't care. And that's how Wonder Boy Returns went. Anyway.
Hooray!
Let's see what old Takahashi Meijin no Bokenjima looks like on GBA. Monster Boy is Wonder Boy canon. Shit! Shit! Well, I learned something. Well... Do you remember those NES and Famicom reissues for GBA?
Yeah.
How they would just put, like, Ice Climber on a single GBA cartridge and it would
that was weird.
it would look really squished and bad.
Yeah.
So that's not to say that this came out of nowhere looking like this. There was precedent. Those GBA ports, or whatever you want to call them, did kind of look kind of bad. Oh, that egg is so jagged.
Oh, I don't like this, Danny. Danny, I don't like this.
The sound emulation is kind of off. That is just crunchy. I don't want my Adventure Island games to be crunchy. I want them to be smooth and buttery.
So you don't like crunchy Takahashi Meijin butter?
I don't, no.
Okay.
You can't be buttery and crunchy. It doesn't make sense. Unless you're eating fried butter, but that's a different stream.
I was gonna say, I don't think we've fallen so far as to be fried butter eaters.
I don't know, we get enough subs. We have to eat fried butter live on stream.
Okay, you know who would hate that? My doctor?
Oh yeah, you shouldn't do that.
Okay, you can, but I got my cholesterol under control. I refuse to eat fried butter for anyone.
I'll eat enough fried butter for the both of us, don't you worry.
Thank you.
Oh, I didn't even mention this. Takahashi Meijin no Bokenjima has no continues. You can't continue in it. You have to find this hidden item at the end of level 1. The Hudson Bee. And then when you get a game over, you hold left and push start, and then you can continue as much as you want.
Thank you, Al Pennington, for the 15-month resub to the Fried Butter Fund. Thank you.
We'll afford that fried butter soon enough. Thank you.
Seraphis Kane with 50 bits for Fried Butter Fridays. And Digital Basic subbing for half a year. Thank you.
Thank you, Digi. Yeah, thanks, everybody. I like to think I kept this stream pretty on topic. It's hard to keep track of all the different titles and things, and I didn't even know about Monster Boy being an official continuation. That's actually pretty cool. Here's the thing, though. I really want to play Wonder Boy Returns, but you can't, because it was pulled from sale, a la Concord. All you can buy now is the remixed version, which took out all the new stuff. But I want to see what the new shitty stuff was like, but I can't. I think, like, Strictly Limited or someone released it physically, so maybe I can find Wonder Boy Returns one of these days, but...
I bet you'll find it for a normal price, too.
Yeah, that's the thing. Yeah. Do I want to pay a premium for a game that was so shitty it was pulled from retail release? The answer is kinda. I kinda do.
Celtabe, thank you for the 25 bits. We don't have enough stock for fried butterscotch. It's gone. It's gone.
Let's see what Bokenjima 4 looks like. It does have all the Famicom games. And it's got little blurbs about them. It was the last Famicom title, did you know?
It is. Okay.
3D kart map? What the fuck is that? Did it come with like some lenticular poster or something? Many more mysteries. Oh no. Does it look as jittery on stream to y'all as it looks to me? Because
it looks so jittery in our,
Oh my god, this looks like... You know what this looks like? This looks like we're playing one of those shitty plug-and plays through an upscaler.
It does!
Hella hammy wee wee style. Oh boy.
This is so hammy wee wee.
This is hammy wee wee to me. For those who don't know what we're talking about, look up RetroPal's hammy wee wee. Spelled HAMYWIWI. This isn't just us making up syllables. It's a thing that actually happened. Well, I guess you could play these games on GBA if you really wanted to. And they would probably look better on original hardware than they do emulated. But as for me, no. Don't. I'm not going to do this.
No?
I love myself too much to play these games like this. Sorry, Master Higgins. You honestly deserve better. And as of 2006, that was the last Adventure Island game released until they brought him back again.
They did?
Yep. Master Higgins, Takahashi Meijin, is back one more time in tonight's final game. Adventure Island The Beginning for WiiWare. No, go to File and Open. And then there you go. The final game, digital only, released exclusively for WiiWare. Now this first part's wide, but it's fine. The capture should be okay. How many of y'all didn't even know this existed? I'm going to say something shocking. I bought this. Back when you could buy WiiWare games, I paid $5 for this video game. It's still on my original Wii. It was, well, let's see how it is. Online interaction's not rated by the ESRB.
I wish that... They don't still have that notice anymore, do they?
Yeah, that was only for, like, DS and Wii games, right?
I wish they had that on Fortnite.
He's back. It's 2009, and it's time to bring back Takahashi Meijin for one last job. Adventure Island, The Beginning. What button do I have for the fucking... It's one of these.
There's Honey.
There we go.
He's back.
Honey's back. Maybe this will look better than the GameCube game. This isn't like a port of the simple 2000 one. This is its own game.
It looks cute so far. I'm okay with it. Normal mode.
She's not even a bee. Come on.
All right.
I like the way that he leans into his run. That's pretty good. Otherwise, well, do keep in mind this had to be under 50 megabytes. This was on WiiWare, and this was only $5, so you wouldn't be paying like $40 on a disc for something. But did they just make pixel art illegal at some point, or what? Like,
remember when people? I swear it. They were like, "No, pixel art's not. That's not what the consumers want."
The fire looks worse.
The fire did look worse. Wow.
I'm just thinking, New Adventure Island, Super Adventure Island. Those games were so vibrant. They had a nice visual identity, even. And then the turn of the century happened, and pixel art became illegal. We all became pixel art outlaws, and all games started to look like this. I don't know, man.
Huh.
Is he wearing pads now?
Yeah.
Okay, good. He should be promoting safety for kids. Pixel art went to jail.
The way you fell down.
As soon as we invited the police to Adventure Island, they outlawed pixel art and made all the games look like this. The snails still have that weird face from the GameCube one. But at least he's still fighting snails.
Yeah.
It keeps all the classic elements.
Like snails.
Yeah, and frogs. Eggs.
It's got banana.
He has these now. Well, let's think about the good times with Takahashi Meijin.
Okay.
Takahashi Meijin no Bokenjima 1 through 4 for Famicom. Pretty good. Super Nintendo ones, even better. He stretched his legs. He went off into Zelda 2 territory. He put on clothes, for God's sake. And then the turn of the century happened, and he was like, you know what? Back to the grass skirt. And who needs pixels? Polygons are here, baby.
I hate it. I wish this looked better. I really do.
Yeah, I remember finishing this for what it's worth and being like, it wasn't incredible or anything, but it was pretty fun. But also, I think I only finished it out of a sense of obligation for spending money on it.
That's fair.
Drumcan Jones, yeah. You could make 3D art look good. You could put some actual, aesthetic, presentation quality, thought into how the game looks instead of just being whatever. But this is what we ended up with. Takahashi Meijin, no sunk cost fallacy. It's true. What's our takeaway from this? It could have been worse.
Could have.
This could have been dog shit to play. It could have been completely worthless. It could have made you regret ever liking Adventure Island in the first place. But also, I wish it didn't look like this.
Yeah.
Alex, what's your favorite Adventure Island game?
I would have to say Super Adventure Island and Super Adventure Island 2 were my faves. I love the way they looked.
Yeah.
But when it came to Wonder Boy games, my favorite is Dragon's Trap, of course.
Dragon's Trap is freaking amazing.
It's so good.
Yeah, so hopefully now you understand why we had to cover Wonder Boy as part of this, because it wouldn't make any sense to just cover these, not the eggplant. We'd have to just constantly be like, oh, this is like that other series we're not going to talk about. No, we had to do it. And hopefully we made that at least a little bit less confusing. Just remember, Wonder Boy 3 is not Wonder Boy 3. I mean, Monster Lair is Wonder Boy 3. Wonder Boy 3 Dragon's Trap is Wonder Boy 4. Monster World 2.
2, yes.
Yeah.
And none of them are Monster World 4.
Right. Which doesn't even have a boy in it.
Yeah, no, it's boy free. Bravo needs bacon 25 bits. I will say the Super Adventure Island and Dragon's Trap. Good
call.
Choices.
Good call. I do recommend the Dragon's Trap remake. Monster World 4, again, amazing. The NES Adventure Island games hold up better than you might think, especially the now production sequels 2 and 3. And if you're looking for a real challenge from gamer hell, Adventure Island 1 is what you want.
Yeah.
Yeah, Pepe Le Pew is so good. Monster World 4 is so amazing. So that's it. That's all of the Adventure Island games and all of the Wonder Boy games. Not the ports. We'd be here for the next 96 hours if we were to show off all the different Wonder Boy ports. So hopefully you understand why that couldn't be possible.
Got any more box art for me to show off?
Yeah, there's one more thing. Let me get to a menu with some music in it here so we can properly appreciate this.
Okay.
There's one more Takahashi Meijin game we haven't talked about yet. Can I have a focus back just for a second? Thank you. So we've discussed how the series have crisscrossed, how they've evolved independently of one another, how they've done their own thing and also struck out, obviously influenced by one another. There's one last Takahashi Meijin game I haven't talked about, and I don't think it's dumped, or if it is, it's not easy to play. There's a mobile game. Alex, bring up that mobile game if you would.
Hold on, I gotta remove that.
Are you ready for this? It looks like this. Look what they fucking did. They put him in Monsterland. In one last final act of defiance, they put Takahashi Meijin in Monsterland. They remade Wonder Boy in Monsterland for mobile devices and released it as Super Adventure Island, and in Japan known as Shin Takahashi Meijin no Bokenjima. That's not to be confused with Takahashi Meijin no Shin Bokenjima, which is Super Adventure Island in Japan. And here's another screenshot for it. It was released in the US, and then I think an upgraded version was released in Japan. That's why the UI looks a little different between these two screenshots. But that's it. This is the kind of thing that'll just make my brain explode if I think about it too much. And I think I have a title shot here too that's really crunchy looking.
Ooh, that looks awful!
Super Adventure Island, not to be confused with Super Adventure Island on the Super Nintendo, is actually Wonder Boy in Monsterland, which is actually Dragon's Curse, which is, no wait, Dragon's Curse is a different, fuck!
You're...
I finally confused myself. We finally did it. So there you go. Even if you think you know the series, even if you think you're not confused, in the end, it's still incredibly confusing. Whew. All right, that covers it, I think. Just, they started to retroactively put him in the Wonder Boy games.
That's so good.
I thought I'd finally fully separated them in my mind, and then they were just like, no, we're going to put Takahashi Meijin in the old Wonder Boy games. Fuck you, Danny. And I was like, well, fine.
Oh, fine.
Sure. Whatever. And that's the full story of Wonder Boy and Takahashi Meijin and his Adventure Island. I'm done. That's it. We did it.
No, put it down. Put it down.
Special thanks to Gun Nut himself, Takahashi Meijin. I gotta watch the rest of that video. That made me laugh when I first saw that. And thanks everybody for watching.
Thank you.
Special thanks to our patrons for voting to see Takahashi Meijin, the complete story, over Alex Kidd. Poor Alex Kidd just lost by a couple of votes, but it's because of our patrons and the way they voted. That's why we covered the things we did tonight. So thank you all. If you want to be part of the club, head to patreon.com/retropals. If you're at the $5 tier, you get to vote what we play during our Wednesday streams. Alex, I'm going to look for a raid target. Take it away.
We are also on YouTube, youtube.com/retropals. We post full-length highlights of our streams there. Our latest one is a look at Natsume's Super NES and Super Famicom output, so do definitely check that one out if you want to see some real funky games.
Yeah, those are some funky-ass games. I gotta play the new Shadow of the Ninja that just released this week, but they pushed back the Switch version, so I gotta wait for that to ship. Nobody spoil me on that.
We are also on Blue Sky and co-host. You can follow us there to find out when we go live, when we've got new videos up on YouTube, and all the RetroPals news you can use. So consider following us there if you'd like.
Yeah, do it.
Yeah.
It's free. You can do it. It's a free country. This isn't a police state like the Adventure Island became. All right, y'all. We're gonna leave you with friend of the show, Rachel Retro, who is doing a Whatever Wednesday. Pretty much anything could show up during one of these streams, and I really like watching these when I get a chance. So go say hi to Rachel. Have a good rest of your evening, and thanks for watching. We'll see you later.
See ya, folks.